Federal prosecutors say the skimming devices were installed at a single major retailer in 22 separate locations across Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, and New York.
President Biden, in the midst of hosting NATO allies in Washington, visited with members of the country's largest union federation, the AFL-CIO. More on that from Gernal Scott.
In campaign mode, President Biden gave credit to unions for helping build up the economy and creating jobs, while at the same time highlighting what some are saying about former President Trump's ideas.
They say his proposals are going to bankrupt the country. His proposals are going to cause a recession.
And as questions persist about his ability to go another 4 years, President Biden says high rent and food prices are among things still to tackle.
A whole range of things we're going to get done with your help in the second term.
The president is counting on union support he's held on to for many decades.
It's 72 at 6:04 at FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
Joplin police have identified the semi-truck driver that died in a crash on I-44 Tuesday morning. News Talk KZRG's Ty Albright with more.
Officers tell us that 58-year-old Mario Suarez of Blue Springs, Missouri, was traveling east on the interstate when his vehicle went off the road near exit 13. He hit the center median cable barrier and then rolled over. Now, the eastbound lanes of I-44 were closed for several hours as crews were cleaning up a corrosive chemical that was in the tractor trailer that was being hauled when the crash occurred. I'm Ty Albright, News Talk KZRG.
Democrats are in free fall. Kansas U.S. Senator Roger Marshall says time is running short for President Biden to either stay in the race or drop out.
Kamala actually polls lower than Sleepy Joe. And the reason is because Americans are rejecting their policies. The Democrats have become this radical, big government, progressive party, and Americans are rejecting that.
Marshall says he's encouraged to see some swing states start to lean more red. It's 72 at 6:05. If you see news, text us. The number 417-782-1310. It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
A ballot measure to scale back the abortion ban in Arkansas will not go before voters. The Secretary of State found that organizers failed to submit required paperwork about the paid canvassers it used to help gather the signatures. Meanwhile, in Missouri, abortion rights advocates turned in more than twice the required signatures for a measure asking voters to approve a constitutional amendment to guarantee abortion until viability. Local election officials have until July 30th to verify the signatures. Then it is up to the Secretary of State to declare whether there were enough.
Well, 2 women are charged with cutting off a man's thumb to use it to access his accounts and pay for Uber rides. Gary Baumgarten has this for News Talk KZRG.
Police say the women hit 51-year-old Fazil Teklemariam over the head and stabbed him repeatedly before severing his thumb to access his accounts to pay for Uber rides, marijuana, and booze. One of the women, who is 22 years old, reportedly described the dead Washington, D.C. man as her sugar daddy. Neighbors say she and her 19-year-old co-defendant were frequent guests at his apartment where he was killed.
Now with sports, here's Lucas Davis on News Talk KZRG.
In MLB news, Kansas City rallied back from a 3-run deficit in the opener and won a slugfest in the nightcap on the way to a 6-4 and 8-5 sweep over St. Louis at Busch Stadium in the I-70 series on Wednesday. In Game 1, the Cardinals led 3-0 after 3 innings thanks to the long ball, but the Royals scored 3 times in the 5th to tie it and went up for good with this swing from Salvador Perez.
He hits that hard into center field. Looking up, Newtmar watches that fly out for a home run. 4-3 Kansas City.
KC scored 2 more insurance runs in the 8th and limited St. Louis to 1 in the 9th. In Game 2, Kansas City scored 7 runs in the middle innings to fuel the Twin Bill sweep. Holding a 5-4 lead, the Royals got another big swing from their veteran backstop and DH to put the game out of reach.
Salvador Perez just hit one a mile over the Royals bullpen, over the stands up toward the concourse.
St. Louis is off today and kicks off a 4-game series at Chicago with the opener against the Cubs set for 7:15 on Friday. KC is also off today and kicks off a 3-game series with Boston on Friday at 6:10. Lucas Davis, News Talk KZRG.
I'm Steve Smith.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
Next news coming up at 6:30. Breaking news as it happens. FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Jeff Nordine.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Going to be expecting sunshine and blue skies as our high temperature gets to 93 degrees, clear in the overnight 71, and then we're partly sunny with wide-spaced thunderstorms around in the afternoon, hitting a high of 94. Saturday and Sunday, partly sunny to blue skies at 96 degrees, and then going into next week, we're going to be sunny and blue once again and even hotter with a high of 98. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk KZRG.
Sounds warm. KZRG Storm Tracker weather radar showing, well, some sunshine. We do see some clouds out there, too, right now. 68 in Neosho, 69 in Pittsburgh, 72 in both Galena and Jomo. 100 weather updates every 24 hours on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. KZRG News Time 6:09.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Someone has told you something that is untrue. Even if it makes you happier, you should trust that person less.
You would think being so both morally grotesque and intellectually flimsy would cause introspection among some of these so-called journalists, but the mean dumb kids table from high school that thinks that everybody wants to sit with them, it's actually not the case.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. Weekdays at 11 following Chris Plant. News Talk KZRG.
Well, summer's here and the weather is beautiful. Everyone has a favorite outdoor activity: golf, bike riding, bird watching, long walks. Ask 100 people, you'll get 100 answers. But if everyday aches and pains are keeping you on the sidelines, I have one answer: Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joints, or muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you'll start to feel the difference all day, every day. So whatever you like to do, swimming, pickleball, hanging out in the garden, Relief Factor can help you feel good again and let you enjoy all your favorite outdoor activities all summer long. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
Hey guys, it's Jill Como with Como Jewelry, and today I want to talk to men of a certain age. Maybe you're the guy with the big anniversary this year. Perhaps your wife just earned a huge promotion at work. Or maybe your baby girl just got engaged and you can't believe the size of the rock on her finger. There's so many milestones worth marking throughout your crazy journey together. Don't let the sparkle die with that first and only engagement ring. Give her something to remind her that you're proud of her, that you love your life together, and that you would choose her again every single day. Como Jewelry in Pittsburgh and Joplin.
From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, it's News Talk KZRG. Ted Bojorquez,
Steve Smith,
and Charlie Davis.
We found Charlie wandering around the parking lot outside. It was cold out. We thought we'd be nice and let him
So those that are asking where Steve is, I posted on Facebook that I kidnapped him so I could co-host today. I really didn't. I didn't. I like Steve, so I would not do anything to harm him.
Strange. So the muffled sounds coming from the trunk of your car that I heard this morning, nothing to do with Steve.
No, I rode the motorcycle, so he would have to be in the trunk of my motorcycle, and I don't think he'd fit.
No, I don't think so either. Well, in any case, no, Steve Scott, he is out this morning, but he's going to be back raring and ready to go tomorrow. He just needed a little break from me, which, to be honest, can you blame him?
Somebody says that he scored tickets to the Taylor Swift concert.
Oh, so, maybe that's
so maybe he went to go see Taylor
Front
Swift.
row, backstage.
VIP tickets.
That would not surprise me at all.
Well, actually, it wouldn't in a way, yeah.
Well, you know what has surprised me quite a bit this week, I will say, is the media that seemingly has been very pro-Biden these last handful of months, really this last handful of years, is suddenly not all that pro-Biden, it seems like.
They are doing the Titanic. They're jumping ship.
How fast they turned on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, CNN especially.
Yeah, no, big time. And a lot of the political pundits, I feel, were the first to kind of jump ship. I mean, I'm not the biggest connoisseur of the Colberts or the Jon Stewarts or anything, but I have YouTube. I see in the algorithm that they're all starting to pretty kind of bash him. I've been watching their clips. They're not very hot on Biden.
They are not kind to him. But what's really odd about it is when I say we, the Republican Party and those that are Trump supporters for years have said that there's some cognitive issues, and it has been covered up or at least just ignored. And we look at some of the videos, etc., but they have covered it up for so long. But I think they have. There's too much evidence. There's too much proof out there that they can't defend it anymore.
Yeah.
But instead of just not saying anything, they're literally doing the opposite. They are not defending him, but they are throwing him under the bus.
And part of me, it's so vexing to me. Were these media outlets, were they woefully ignorant of these issues?
No.
Or were they actively a part of it? You think they were a part of it?
Actively a part of it. Well, look at the Hunter Biden situation.
Mm-hmm.
Did media cover up the laptop? Did they hide it? Did they not talk about it on purpose? Absolutely. And that's pretty sad because they are no longer news agencies. They are editorialists. They tell you what you need to believe rather than just tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Just go out there and tell what's happening. And unfortunately, the alphabet channels are not doing that anymore.
Whatever happened to news agencies? National news. I mean, now it's all punditry.
What happened to Walter Cronkite?
Yeah.
He passed away.
Well, hello.
Not literally.
Hello. But yeah, you have somebody like Walter Cronkite that, he was nonpartisan. He would just tell you the news, but we don't have that anymore. And it's no matter what alphabet channel that you watch or listen to, they've got an agenda.
Yeah.
And it's pretty evident.
No, certainly. And I'm kind of glad you brought up the news side, the non-political pundit side, because this isn't just the political pundits that were once backing Biden that are kind of jumping ship. At a White House press briefing this week, which typically are filled with people that are not just pundits specifically, even the press there, which has been very kind to the Biden administration, we're getting pretty frustrated with White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, specifically with the issue of whether or not a Parkinson's expert visited the White House to see Biden, how many times they visited, and for what specific purpose they were there.
How would you like to have that job?
The White House press secretary?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
Because she has to lie.
Of course.
I mean, that's her job. She has to lie. She has to defend the president
no matter
what he says.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times would he say something that she could have to, well, let me clarify what he meant.
Right.
Or when you see the videos, etc., oh, he just had a bad day.
Yeah.
So it's all total defense of the president, who she supports.
And even from a good faith perspective, not even just lying to cover his butt, but with stuff like, I don't know, military secrets, which, by the way, as a citizen, I'm pretty okay with them not being completely forthright in with certain situations.
Absolutely.
So when there is a bombing and they ask the White House press secretary, what was this about? She does have to lie sometimes because she's not going to say, well, we know exactly where our number one enemy is, because that's going to broadcast to the world and to that enemy. Well, it's time for me to get the heck out of Dodge. They know where I am. So you're right. Lying is inherently part of it, whether it be for political purposes or national security purposes. There is an aspect of that.
But have we ever seen this? I'm 58 years old, and I don't ever recall that the media has bailed on a president. The media bailed on Trump, of course, since day one.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're the poster child for the liberal media, I have never seen them bail on any presidential candidate or any president like they've done this time.
Way back, I was adolescent. They bailed on Tom Eagleton remember when he, I don't know if you remember, but it was revealed he had shock treatments for psychological problems. And all of a sudden, the Democrat Party and some of the media bailed on him. And he was senator from Missouri. And, of course, shock treatments are a fairly common thing now.
You're a historian, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
This was in the, I think, of the early 70s. But, not to this degree, I agree.
Hey, Ted, you weren't even born in the early 70s,
No,
were you?
not even.
Okay.
I'm way, I'm ageless.
And by the way, I'm suspicious.
Remember Abe Lincoln?
The good old days.
You were there, the Emancipation Proclamation.
We
you
didn't
watched
like
him
that.
sign it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there he was. And I said, what?
There he was.
But anyway.
Now, my question for you guys, honestly, is what do you think sparked this bail from the media? Do you think it was the debate? Do you think it's something that's been brewing for a long time? Is it a safety in numbers thing? Because my thinking, honestly, is that a lot of these media outlets had these feelings. They were just afraid to voice them.
Absolutely. I think the debate did not start it. The debate was something that exasperated it, and the public saw it. And as long as they could hide the things from the public, then they would continually defend him. But they could not hide this. And since they couldn't hide it, I think they come to the realization, they smelled the roses, that, oh my goodness, we've got to do something different.
Yeah, I was in PR for like 28 years.
Puerto Rico?
Yes, Puerto Rico. I wish. And I can't imagine why they would allow him to go out there, his own people, and without saying, whoa, stop, unless he just said, well, I'm going to do it anyway.
Well, you have to. He's the president. He is the leader of the nation that leads the free world. And to think that they tell him, don't talk, don't go out there,
don't say anything,
don't go overseas, and don't say anything. What does that tell the world? Well, I'll tell you what happened to me. So the other day we had a foreign exchange student from Germany come by the courthouse, and I gave her and her host family a tour, and she was from Germany. And, of course, I graduated high school in Karlsruhe, Germany, and we got to talk. And I always ask, so what does your country think about our president? And
it's a good question.
Eyes rolled. Eyes rolled, because the other nations are looking at us, and they are now feeling exactly the way that the Republican Party and the Conservatives have actually felt for 4 years, that, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And they're thinking, man, he's the leader. He's the leader of, not the leader of NATO, but, the United States is the leader of the free world, and we have somebody that cannot do his job. The cognitive ability is not there. And imagine if we did have a World War III event happen, and he gets the call at 3 o'clock in the morning, does he have the ability to make good decisions to defend this country? And I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't think he does.
No, it's pretty crazy to think Biden's blunders have gone global. I mean, even other countries are like rolling their eyes at it.
Yep. Well,
That's nuts.
He has snubbed so many leaders across this world that I think they've known it all along. It's just now everybody's being vocal.
Yeah. It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. Coming up a little bit later this morning, I want to get into these two NASA astronauts that are literally stranded in space right now.
Don't say anything about it.
How would you like to be one of those two?
Dude.
Oh, my goodness. That would be scary.
No, that sounds awful. We're going to get into it coming up on News Talk KZRG.
KZRG's Big Three on News Talk KZRG.
Number 3.
President Biden is set to host a non-scripted news conference today in regard to the NATO summit. The whole nation will be watching, not for a NATO update, but to see how well or unwell the president is.
Number 2.
Donald Trump compared possible VP pick J.D. Vance to a young Abraham Lincoln, not because of any political reasons, but because of his facial hair. All Vance needs now is the hat and the monocle. Oh, wait, we're talking now about Mr. Peanut.
Number 1.
And Freeman Health System is constructing a new Southeast Kansas hospital. It will be in Frontenac. The new location will have 50 beds, an emergency department, cardiac services, and pediatrics.
Now, the KZRG question of the day on News Talk KZRG.
What is your biggest pet peeve? We want to know. Go to the KZRG Facebook page, News Talk KZRG on Facebook. Rhonda said being late drives her nuts. Gargamel said, I'll get banned on Facebook if I answer this. All right, he's got quite a pet peeve, I imagine. What is your biggest pet peeve? We want to know. Coming up, we're going to take a little look at what's going on with your money on News Talk KZRG.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Minus tomorrow, we're going to be pretty dry as we're tracking not only sunshine and blue skies, but steady temperatures that'll start at 93 for today, dip down to 71.
Good morning, everybody. What do we got in today? Jimmy's here. Charlie's here.
I'm here. I'm on Facebook and I'm in the studio.
Charlie's everywhere. Can't escape him. We got Raymond's in the house. Steve is out. Charlie kidnapped him.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Innocent till proven guilty.
I admit to nothing.
Suzanne.
And Tony's here today too.
Tony, what's going on, Tony? Cerisa's in the house.
Cerisa's in the house.
Into his house.
Yeah.
What is your guys' biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet. Oh, I have not.
I
would think laziness.
Really?
Absolutely.
That's a good pet peeve.
It aggravates me. I was watching the YouTube channel last night, and the discussion was a lot of millennials and the younger generation are complaining about having to work. They don't have to go into work.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's too much. It's too much. We need to have 20-hour work weeks and stuff like that.
My son gets to go either 2 or 3 days a week work from home. Whenever he just
Really?
Yeah, and I thought,
See, there are certain jobs that 100% absolutely can work from home.
Yeah.
Credit card support. Pop up your computer. VoIP. You can answer that. So there are certain things absolutely you do not need to have a brick and mortar building to work in. But if you look at a lot of our retail stores, Amazon online sales, it's just amazing. The number of people, and it'll be interesting because September. Hey Doc, how are you? Oh,
no way! Doc is here.
right over there.
Doc is here, and he brought donuts.
Those are good enough for
Good morning,
Charlie.
Wow.
Hello,
How you doing, man? Wow. You didn't
Man,
have to
for
do this.
you, I don't like
Did
the way
you-
you
did-
vote.
My apologies.
Hey, you didn't bring them anything?
I gave Kick some. Oh, for you mean?
Yeah, for those two.
Those are all for
Oh,
you.
that's up to you.
Man,
Oh, Charlie gets to decide.
man, how many?
Chuck is marketing techniques. The thing that Brand Camp that we picked up on, it was measuring our before and after. Once we started the commercials, we've seen a near 50% increase in our memberships just in the past few months. Give the Zimmer folks a call. For a small business, it's a great opportunity to get your name out there and showcase your business.
Let's make your business a household name with a Brandsformation. Get started on your Brandsformation today at ZimmerMarketing.com.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. Skilled AI has announced a $300 million funding round led by Jeff Bezos and Japan's SoftBank Group that will help the Pittsburgh-based startup build what it calls a general-purpose brain for a variety of robots. The company says that it has trained its AI model on more data than its competitors, while building a system that could be retrofitted to existing hardware. Skilled AI said its systems could be used for complex household tasks and industrial work. The S&P 500 yesterday climbed to a new record high, breaking above 5,600 for the first time as a sharp rise in semiconductor stocks led the market higher. Chip stocks were among the largest winners of the session. Taiwan Semiconductor added 3.5% after revenue from April to June came in ahead of Wall Street estimates. Peer chip firm Qualcomm, Broadcom, and artificial intelligence giant NVIDIA also saw stocks climb higher. Futures are slightly lower. That's Your Money Now.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ROCK to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ROCK to 42424. That's ROCK to 42424.
It's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, it's News Talk, KZRG. Ted Bojorquez.
Steve Smith.
Charlie Davis.
And we had quite the, I don't even know what you call it. It was a guest appearance.
Oh, my goodness. Heavenly sent.
Yeah.
Doc, from across the street, he graced us with his presence here in the studio. He kicked the door down with love and brought us gifts.
He come running in here with the cape.
That's right.
Yeah,
the
Speedo, tights, swooped in and brought us donuts.
He did. And I noticed, by the way, I don't know if you saw, but I saw in the hallway he had his unicycle parked out there.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
I
Did you miss
not
that?
see it. I missed it.
Oh, it was great. He had the horn on it and everything. So,
Well, Doc Conrad, from the bottom of my heart, as the man who loves to eat, thank you so much for the donuts. Now the mouse and the keyboard and everything's going to have sugar on it, so I better be careful.
Hey, that's a good problem to have, having sugar over everything. But yeah, Doc came in, brought us some donuts. Big shout out to Doc. And by the way, if you ever want to stop by the KZRG studios and bless us with your presence and also baked goods, we are always accepting.
Well, we're even thinking about extending this through the lunch hour so that way people can bring us lunch.
If anyone wants to drop off a hoagie or maybe a club sandwich. Steak. We will never turn you away.
Absolutely.
Of course not. Hey, coming up after the news in about 10 minutes here, I want to get into this story about these two NASA astronauts that are currently stranded in space. Now, they're not lost. We know where they are, which is good. But they're stuck up there.
I'm scared for them.
Yeah, me too. It seems a little nerve-wracking. We're going to get into those details, and I also want to get into this story about a company who is installing computerized vending machines to sell ammunition in grocery stores. It was a pretty crazy story.
Hey, was that in our show prep?
That was indeed.
Oh, my God. Oh, I must have missed that.
It was labeled most American thing you've ever seen.
America,
baby. That's it. So we're going to get into those stories coming up in about 10 minutes here, just after the news at about 6:40 on News Talk, KZRG.
At 6:30, I'm Steve Smith.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
And here's what's trending on News Talk KZRG. Crossbow murders.
Skimming scam.
Biden unions. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Jeff Nordine.
Sunny overall, minus some wide-spaced thunderstorms for tomorrow. Complete details in moments with your KZRG weather.
Well, we'll give you this teaser. We're heading for a high of 90 today. Your complete KZRG forecast will be coming up following KZRG Sports at around 8 after the hour. Right now, it's kind of hazy outside. We do see some blue. And it's 68 in Neosho, 70 in Pittsburgh, 72 Galena, and 72 in Joplin on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. Police have caught a man wanted over a triple crossbow murder at a house near London. Jonathan Savage has the story for News Talk KZRG.
The manhunt ended in a cemetery. Kyle Clifford found injured by police and taken into custody. An alert went out for the 26-year-old after 3 bodies were discovered in the commuter town of Bushey, northwest of London. 61-year-old Carol Hunt and her daughters Hannah, who is 28, and 25-year-old Louise were found dead. Police say a crossbow was used in the murders. The victims were the wife and daughters of a prominent BBC horse racing announcer. One colleague broadcasting in tears, calling it a heartbreaking day.
6 foreign nationals in the U.S. illegally have been charged in a conspiracy to install skimming devices on bank ATMs. Ted Linder gives News Talk KZRG the details.
The 6 illegal immigrants are now facing federal charges accused of a vast scheme to defraud Americans by installing the devices on bank ATMs and at retail store checkout units, all in an effort to obtain victims' credit card details to make purchases and even create new fake credit cards used to withdraw cash from victims' bank accounts. Federal prosecutors say the skimming devices were installed at a single major retailer in 22 separate locations across Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, and New York.
President Biden, in the midst of hosting NATO allies in Washington, visited with members of the country's largest union federation, the AFL-CIO. More from Gernal Scott.
In campaign mode, President Biden gave credit to unions for helping build up the economy and creating jobs, while at the same time highlighting what some are saying about former President Trump's ideas.
They say his proposals are going to bankrupt the country. His proposals are going to cause a recession.
And as questions persist about his ability to go another 4 years, President Biden says high rent and food prices are among things still to tackle.
A whole range of things we're going to get done with your help in the second term.
The president is counting on union support he's held on to for many decades.
It's 72 at 6:34 at FM 102.9. Make that 6:33. 105.9 AM 1310 and on your smart speaker. News Talk KZRG.
A big win for a Northeast Oklahoma defense attorney. News Talk KZRG's Ty Albright with that story.
Well, after several years of litigation, an appeals court has upheld the dismissal of all charges against Winston Connor of Grove. He had previously been accused of racketeering, assault, pandering, witness intimidation, and other crimes after allegedly communicating with a convicted murderer. But with the ruling this week, every case against Connor has been dropped. His attorneys say his reputation is and should be fully restored. I'm Ty Albright, News Talk KZRG.
Stopping congressional members from trading stocks. Missouri U.S. Senator Josh Hawley talking about a new bipartisan ban on stock trading.
I mean, it's really simple, and you don't have to explain it to anybody in America. The only people you have to explain it to are here in this building. The only people who don't seem to understand why stock trading should be banned are here in the Capitol. Every American gets it, and they're right to get it. There is no reason why the personal profit of members of Congress should come first. It should come last. It shouldn't be a consideration at all.
He says he hopes it will get a vote in committee this month. 72 at 6:35. If you see news, text us 417-782-1310. It's FM 102.9, 105.9 AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
Freeman Health System announced its plans to open the Freeman Southeast Kansas in Frontenac. The 170,000 square foot building will hold 50 hospital beds and will be located on East 600 Avenue, just north of the Compton Greyhound Park. Freeman Health System President and CEO Paula Baker told News Talk KZRG it's a prime location for a new hospital.
This is an optimal location for us because it is located centrally for many of the communities in southeast Kansas to take advantage of. We have good highway access right off the bypass, which can be difficult to obtain. And so we feel that everything came together to make this a very ideal location.
2 women are charged with cutting off a man's thumb to use it to access his accounts and pay for Uber rides. Gary Baumgarten reports.
Police say the women hit 51-year-old Fazil Teklemariam over the head and stabbed him repeatedly before severing his thumb to access his accounts to pay for Uber rides, marijuana, and booze. One of the women, who is 22 years old, reportedly described the dead Washington, D.C. man as her sugar daddy. Neighbors say she and her 19-year-old co-defendant were frequent guests at his apartment where he was killed.
Now with sports, here's Lucas Davis on News Talk KZRG.
In MLB news, Kansas City rallied back from a 3-run deficit in the opener and won a slugfest in the nightcap on the way to a 6-4 and 8-5 sweep over St. Louis at Busch Stadium in the I-70 series on Wednesday. In Game 1, the Cardinals led 3-0 after 3 innings thanks to the long ball, but the Royals scored 3 times in the 5th to tie it and went up for good with this swing from Salvador Perez.
He hits that hard into center field. Looking up, Newtmar watches that fly out for a home run. 4-3 Kansas City.
KC scored 2 more insurance runs in the 8th and limited St. Louis to 1 in the 9th. In Game 2, Kansas City scored 7 runs in the middle innings to fuel the Twin Bill sweep. Holding a 5-4 lead, the Royals got another big swing from their veteran backstop and DH to put the game out of reach.
Salvador Perez just hit one a mile over the Royals bullpen, over the stands up toward the concourse.
St. Louis is off today and kicks off a 4-game series at Chicago with the opener against the Cubs set for 7:15 on Friday. KC is also off today and kicks off a 3-game series with Boston on Friday at 6:10. Lucas Davis, News Talk KZRG.
I'm Steve Smith.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
Your next news coming up at 7 a.m. Breaking news, though, as it happens. FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Jeff Nordine.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Minus tomorrow, we're going to be pretty dry as we're tracking not only sunshine and blue skies, but steady temperatures that'll start at 93 for today, dip down to 71 then tonight as we're looking at a clear sky, and then tomorrow we're partly sunny with very wide-spaced thunderstorms hitting a high of 94. Even warmer at 96 over the weekend for both days under partly sunny to blue skies. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk KZRG.
KZRG Storm Tracker weather radar showing some haziness out there. 68 in Neosho, 70 in Pittsburgh, 72 in both Galena and Joplin. 100 weather updates every 24 hours on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. KZRG News Time, 6:39.
We hear a lot of bad statistics about poverty and homelessness in America. 250,000 people living on the streets. Homelessness increased nationally by 12% last year. A recent report suggested there are 645 homeless people in Joplin alone, 400 of them children and youth. At Watered Gardens Ministries, we have some encouraging statistics to share. Last year, we saw our guests achieve over 1,500 goals. More than 600 people received physical and mental wellness screenings. 104 people left shelter with a job, and 146 people are no longer homeless. Here's what Shannon said. I've been out of Watered Gardens for almost a month now. I'm living in my own place, I've started attending a new church, and I've made many new and dear friends. None of this would have happened if not for Watered Gardens. We're thankful for your support of effort-based and real compassion that provides real solutions for poverty and homelessness. To get more involved by making a gift or becoming a volunteer, visit wateredgardens.org.
What is the best part of your day? Sometimes when life is busy, it's hard to tell. Well, not anymore. Welcome to the best part of your day, Ziggy's Coffee. This fast and convenient drive-thru is locally owned and now open at 209 West Fur Road in Carthage, right next to the Walmart Supercenter. Ziggy's Coffee has specialty coffee drinks, energy infusions, and a unique caffeine-free Kids Zone menu. But it doesn't stop with delicious drinks. Ziggy's also has the ultimate breakfast, lunch, and snack lineup, so there is something everyone will love. The Carthage Ziggy's location is now open 7 days a week, starting at 5 a.m. on weekdays and 6 a.m. on the weekend. Stop by and get a taste of the all-new Ziggy's Coffee at 209 West Fur Road in Carthage, right next to the Walmart Supercenter. Ziggy's Coffee. Welcome to the best part of your day.
The doctor's office that mixed up your files has your Social Security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info and last 3 addresses. Your info is in endless places that could accidentally expose your info to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
Thursday. We're not quite at the end of the week, but gosh darn it, we're getting there. It's Ted Bojorquez.
Steve Smith sitting in for Steve Scott.
And Charlie Davis sitting in for
Charlie Davis.
I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to be anywhere, though.
Yeah, especially at my age.
At my age,
Yeah,
I'm glad
right.
to be anywhere. I'm glad to be vertical.
And I know the question, of course, is where is Steve Scott? Well, I don't know where the heck he is, but I know where he isn't. He's not lost in space. Because he's not one of those two astronauts that are currently stranded on the International Space Station. I know.
So what's going on in your mind? If you were stuck in outer space, what's going on in their mind?
It is wild. Two NASA astronauts. They're stuck in the ISS. Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams are their names. They blasted off to space June 5th. They were supposed to be there for about a week. They're still there.
They're still there. That's a month and a week later.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what's crazy is they were supposed to launch into space way before June 5th, but there were a series of delays because of the rockets. There was a series of aborted missions, so on and so forth.
Several failure to launch.
Couple of failures. And so, despite all that, they said to themselves, what could go wrong? We're still going to go for it.
I like one of the comments. I have a really good feeling in my heart that this spacecraft will bring us home. I really don't want to have a good feeling in my heart. I want to have confidence that it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So they blasted off. They were there. When they were set to come back to Earth, it was revealed that there was a thruster malfunction and a helium leaks.
So are they going around sounding like little...
I didn't even think of that. That'd be pretty funny.
Around with helium in space. Yeah, I'll tell you.
That is pretty funny. So now they did, as Charlie pointed out, they did express confidence that eventually they'll be able to come home. Got to keep up those, that good mentality, I suppose.
It's scary. You know what they really need to do? Just let Elon Musk send one of his rockets up there to rescue him.
Okay, I said the same thing when I was reading about this story because, and I don't mean to throw anyone under the bus here, but of course, the rocket was a Boeing.
Yeah, and that's concerning.
That's concerning me as a consumer. I fly a lot, and I try to avoid Boeing if I have the ability to.
You know, I fly on cheap airline, and they use the Airbuses, and never had any problems with
I'll take those over Boeing at this point.
Yeah, and that's sad because Boeing is a great company.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there has been some issues over the past few years that need to be addressed, and this is a huge one. You know, you can build a car and build it incorrectly and nobody die, but you can't build a spacecraft incorrectly and send some people in outer space and just have somebody go pick them up.
Well, I wonder, do we have anything to go pick them up? Because we didn't when the one space shuttle came home and didn't make it. You know, we didn't have any way to go rescue them.
Yeah, I do believe that Elon Musk does have...
I'm sure Elon could help. Now, the space shuttle they got there in technically is still operational. The thruster issue they had was not a physical malfunction. It was that some of the directionary aspects of the thruster were taken offline for some reason. They don't know why. Now, they got them back online, so the thruster currently still works perfectly fine technically, but there is concern because they don't know the reason why it was offline to begin with, and so they're trying to backtrack to figure that out to make sure it doesn't shut down mid-flight in the future.
But you know what's more disturbing to me about this whole situation?
What's that?
They say that they have to do something. You know, they're stuck up there, so they have to do something. So if you look at one of their tasks One of their tasks is changing the pump out on a machine that processes urine back into drinking water. I'm like, oh my goodness! So you're actually taking pee,
work on that,
and converting it back to drinking it.
Nobody said space travel was going to be glamorous, Charlie.
Oh my goodness!
Have a big cold glass of formerly urine.
Yeah.
Now water, right? Yeah.
You know, with budget cuts that go around, I'm very glad they don't cut the water budget and just install one of those pumps and say, no, we're just going to use the same 10 gallons for the next 6 months in circulation.
That's horrible.
It's nasty.
It's nasty.
So, yeah. Ultimately, though, technically they are fine. They express confidence. NASA similarly expresses confidence that they will be able to get home safe.
And I bet you both of them are requesting prayers from people that
I'm sure
everything will work out well.
I would be, I mean.
So, yeah, just be thankful. No matter what your day is looking like, how poorly it is, the IRS is yelling at you, your spouse is yelling at you, you're not stuck in space.
Working a kitchen job and you don't like it.
How true is that? We complain about little things when you have two people that are stuck in outer space that are concerned about getting home, and we're worried about
whatever. Yeah, my sports team lost. Yeah. Switching gears here, there was another pretty interesting story that came out this week. There's a company that is looking to install computerized vending machines to sell ammunition in grocery stores. Now, they already have them situated in Alabama, Oklahoma, and Texas, and they are looking to open additional vending machines in Texas and a few in Colorado in the coming weeks.
So you know what I think they ought to do?
What's that?
As a marketing thing, they need to get Leonard Skinner to let them use their song "Give Me Back My Bullets" and have that playing out of the vending machines.
That would be pretty cool.
But there's safeguards. It's not like kids can go up and stick in a $20 bill and get bullets.
No, exactly. So basically the way that this machine works, the computerized aspect, it's not like a Coke machine. You push B5 and then a 5.56 round comes out.
It drops the bullets down in and one goes off. It's like, oh, great.
No, exactly. No. Basically, the way the machine works is it requires a customer to scan their driver's license to validate that they're 21 or older. Now, not only does it do that, but it also checks to make sure that driver's license is a valid driver's license. And I'm going to have to do a little research. I imagine that applies to state-issued IDs as well, because not everybody drives. I have a friend that has a state-issued ID. He can vote with it. He just doesn't like driving. It's not his thing. Whatever.
Does he live in California?
He does live in California. Yeah. No, not around here.
I was going to say you have to have a car around here.
Around here, yes. No, in the city of San Francisco, you could live 15 years, never have a car, and be perfectly fine. But so they scan to make sure it is an ID, make sure you're older than 21, make sure it's a valid ID, and they utilize a facial recognition software to scan the customer's face to ensure that the individual that put that ID in is, in fact, the individual on the ID, the owner of that ID.
Technology.
It's pretty wild.
It's pretty cool. And hey, kudos to the company for thinking out of the box, trying to find some way to have a source of revenue.
Yeah.
Wow, whoever thought vending machine bullets, then on the way down to Oklahoma, and I'm sure it's elsewhere, or way to Tulsa, you can get naloxone out of a vending machine.
Absolutely.
And which is a good idea. And they've changed our lives.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of the mechanics of this machine, I think it's cool. I think the idea is funny, frankly, of having like a bullet vending machine. In terms of necessity, I mean, I'm not against it. I'm pro Second Amendment. I think it's great. I think it's fun. I think it's a goofy thing to make liberals upset. To be honest, I don't know how much foot traffic these machines are going to get.
I think that's the best part about the whole thing is the liberals are
Yeah.
They are pitching a fit. But isn't that kind of strange, though? You know, a generation ago, we got rid of cigarette machines, but now we're getting bullet machines.
A fair trade-off.
Condom machines, Narcan, vending machines.
Yeah. You know what? I'll make that trade any day. I'm not the biggest fan of big tobacco. I'll make the bullet vending machine trade over the cigarette machine. Go. But yeah, I'm curious as you're cruising around the 4 states. What are your thoughts?
So how much does a 223 shell cost?
I don't know. I do need to go price check.
It'd be interesting. It may be priced out of the market. It might be too expensive that they're not going to make any money. But
it's possible. Also, I feel like, to me, like, gun shops are kind of a social thing. I like going there. I like talking to the people. I like enjoying the atmosphere. If I'm in a hurry to grab tortillas, I'm not. I can't imagine myself even utilizing my right to then go and buy some
absolutely. And
12
you bring
shells.
up a good point. Go to Liberty Tree in Carthage.
Yeah,
and
they're great.
Talk with Eli and their staff, and you can sit down. You can talk about anything.
Oh, they're a blast.
It's not just about what gun do you want to buy, or what ammo you want to buy, or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of conversation that goes on in their store.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's great.
So that's I think the vending machine thing is cool. I'm not necessarily against it. I just can't imagine it's going to be successful from the sheer market perspective.
I think they're doing it just to drive liberals crazy.
I agree. It's News Talk, KZRG.
KZRG's Big Three on News Talk, KZRG.
Number 3.
Biden is set to host a non-scripted news conference today in regard to the NATO summit. The whole nation will be watching, not for a NATO update, but to see how well or unwell he's doing.
Number 2.
Trump compared possible VP pick J.D. Vance to a young Abe Lincoln, not because of any political reason, but because of his facial hair. All Vance needs now is a hat and monocle. Oh, wait, no, that's Mr. Peanut.
Number 1.
Freeman Health System is constructing a new Southeast Kansas hospital in Frontenac. The new location will have 50 beds, an emergency department, cardiac services, and pediatrics.
Now, the KZRG question of the day on News Talk, KZRG.
What is your biggest pet peeve? We want to know. Go to the KZRG Facebook page, News Talk KZRG on Facebook. What's your biggest pet peeve? Sarah on Facebook said spitting. Oh, Sarah, you might want to avoid the Joplin Outlaws baseball games then. They do a lot of that there. Nathan on Facebook said people driving slow in the fast lane. I would avoid cities then, Nathan. What is your biggest pet peeve? We want to know. Go to the KZRG Facebook page. Coming up, we're going to take a little look at Hannity's Morning Minute on News Talk KZRG.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Minus tomorrow, we're going to be pretty dry as we're tracking not only sunshine and blue skies, but steady temperatures that'll start at 93 for today, dip down to 71.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well today.
Good morning.
The bullet machine thing, I think, was pretty much exclusively just to bother liberals. Is very, very funny.
Yeah.
There was a really famous firearm design. It was an AR-15 that had 2 barrels and then 2 magazine ports or whatever.
Good night.
And and then all the top comment was heavy, unnecessary, ridiculous. Designed exclusively to piss off liberals.
Yep.
I'll take 2.
Yeah.
And you're like stuff like that. I love that. I think that is such an American spirit of just because I can.
Absolutely.
I think it's super refreshing.
So I got out my AR-15 the other day. I've never shot it. It was my dad's.
Oh really? Oh
and
cool.
when my dad passed, I inherited it, and my father-in-law fired it one time into the ground right next to my water line. It's like, Dan, don't.
What?
But I got it out. I need to.
That's super
do some
cool.
target practice.
Yeah. I have a family friend whose father had passed, and unbeknownst to him, his father had a massive gun collection.
Oh wow!
And they are historical weapons. They are
cool.
World War II. He has World War I.
See, Bill White has the same thing. He's got a lot of old antique firearms that are really cool.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that. I love the antique firearm thing. To me is very fascinating. Just to look at I had an opportunity to go to the Marine Museum in San Diego. Mm-hmm. They have a little museum on their base.
Marine Corps.
The Marine Corps,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, not the Marina, not the ocean.
Okay.
The Marine Corps has a museum, a little historical museum. And they have this entire section where it is the evolution of their technology.
Oh, wow.
That they use.
That's cool.
And you can see, for one of the things they have, of course, is the firearms. And you can see just physically right there the evolution of the firearms that was standard issue for them. between through the ages, and it is fascinating to see how they adapted.
You go from muskets where you have to load the powder and pack the ball down in to now we have bullets that go around corners.
Yeah. With stinking computers on the side, and
it's amazing.
The cool one too is they had the evolution of their communication devices, and so you see in like World War II these giant like droid style radios with a big old antenna, and then you can see how compact they get.
Now you have little satellite radios. That just as long as our satellites don't get shot down, then they work well.
Assuming that's all good, but. It's really fascinating that technological evolution, and they say that warfare is one of the biggest drivers of technological advancements.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which totally makes sense to me. But hey, Jerry, what's going on?
Love Jerry's American flags.
America, buddy.
America.
So let me ask, when do you think the culture of liking America will return to combat the current counterculture of disliking it?
Honestly, when something bad happens, I think.
Yeah.
9/11 happened. Boom. That day, America was back.
Mm-hmm.
Patriotism, people went back to church, and it's because people were freaking scared. And we were very patriotic. You know, they had flags at all the football games once they started back up. Baseball games, just very patriotic. Honor our service members, our first responders. Great, America was back. And then slowly got away from it. But it's just like the road to serfdom. You know, when things are rough, I have to find out what those sayings are. But as things are going really good, then you become apathetic, and you become a full circle where you become dependent again.
Mm-hmm. Sort of like there's that great saying, it's good times, it was hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times, and then the cycle continues.
Yeah, that's right.
Out, realign, seal your gutters before installing leaf filter. Protect your home and never clean out gutters ever again with Leaf Filter. They're America's #1 gutter protection system. And schedule your free inspection. Get up to 30% off your entire purchase when you go to leaffilter.com/Hannity. That's a free inspection up to 30% off. LEAFfilter.com/Hannity. And do it today. Hey.
It's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, it's News Talk KZRG. Ted Bojorquez,
Steve Smith,
and Charlie Davis.
Hey, coming up this morning at 7:40. In a little less than an hour here, we're going to be joined by Missouri State Representative Ben Baker. And at 8:10, we're going to be joined by Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson. So if you have any questions for Ben Baker or Eric Burleson, feel free to text them to 417-782-1310, or you can let us know on our KZRG video live stream, sponsored by Fast Monkey Auto and Liberty Tree Guns. Good morning.
The Four States News, Talk, and Severe Weather Station. KZRG, KIXQ HD2, Joplin. A free service of Zimmer Marketing.
At 7 a.m., I'm Steve Smith.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
And here's what's trending on News Talk KZRG. Crossbow murders.
Skimming scam.
Biden unions. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here is KZRG meteorologist Jeff Nordine.
Sunny overall, minus some wide-spaced thunderstorms for tomorrow. Complete details in moments with your KZRG weather.
Heading for a high in the low 90s today. Your complete KZRG forecast following KZRG Sports at about 7:08. Right now, we have sort of hazy conditions, some blue peeking out there amongst the haze. 68 in Neosho, 70 in Pittsburgh, and 72 in Joplin on FM 102.9, 105.9 AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. Police have caught a man wanted over a triple crossbow murder at a house near London. Jonathan Savage reports.
The manhunt ended in a cemetery. Kyle Clifford found injured by police and taken into custody. An alert went out for the 26-year-old after 3 bodies were discovered in the commuter town of Bushey, northwest of London. 61-year-old Carol Hunt and her daughters Hannah, who is 28, and 25-year-old Louise were found dead. Police say a crossbow was used in the murders. The victims were the wife and daughters of a prominent BBC horse racing announcer. One colleague broadcasting in tears, calling it a heartbreaking day.
6 foreign nationals in the U.S. illegally have been charged in a conspiracy to install skimming devices on bank ATMs. Ted Linder gives News Talk KZRG an update.
The 6 illegal immigrants are now facing federal charges accused of a vast scheme to defraud Americans by installing the devices on bank ATMs and at retail store checkout units, all in an effort to obtain victims' credit card details to make purchases and even create new fake credit cards used to withdraw cash from victims' bank accounts. Federal prosecutors say the skimming devices were installed at a single major retailer in 22 separate locations across Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, and New York.
President Biden, in the midst of hosting NATO allies in Washington, visited with members of the country's largest union federation, the AFL-CIO. More on that from Gernal Scott.
In campaign mode, President Biden gave credit to unions for helping build up the economy and creating jobs, while at the same time highlighting what some are saying about former President Trump's ideas.
They say his proposals are going to bankrupt the country. His proposals are going to cause a recession.
And as questions persist about his ability to go another 4 years, President Biden says high rent and food prices are among things still to tackle.
A whole range of things we're going to get done with your help in the second term.
The president is counting on union support he's held on to for many decades.
72 right now at 7:03 at FM 102.9, 105.9 AM 1310. And on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
Joplin police have identified the semi-truck driver that died in a crash on I-44 Tuesday morning. News Talk KZRG's Ty Albright with more.
Officers tell us that 58-year-old Mario Suarez of Blue Springs, Missouri, was traveling east on the interstate when his vehicle went off the road near exit 13. He hit the center median cable barrier and then rolled over. Now, the eastbound lanes of I-44 were closed for several hours as crews were cleaning up a corrosive chemical that was in the tractor trailer that was being hauled when the crash occurred. I'm Ty Albright, News Talk KZRG.
Well, the state of Missouri violated the Americans with Disabilities Act. The DOJ, Department of Justice, says the state unnecessarily institutionalizes adults with mental health disabilities instead of providing them community-based health. Missouri Governor Mike Parson says he's a little bit skeptical about that report.
I fought the federal agencies for 6 years, and I'll continue to try to figure out what is the right thing to do and what is the wrong thing to do. But I don't have a lot of trust in the opinion of the federal government sometimes.
The Department of Justice says the state too often again puts people in nursing facilities. You can read the full report, get all the details there in the KZRG app. 72 right now at 7:05. If you see news, text us. The number is 417-782-1310. It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker too, News Talk KZRG.
Highlighting Baxter's history. A new massive mural project is set to get underway soon. The cost of the $7,500 1,200 square foot painting is being covered by a state grant. It'll be painted by A.J. Wood and his son Jordan of Joplin and should be done by September.
Well, 2 women are charged with cutting off a man's thumb and using it to access his accounts and pay for Uber rides. Gary Baumgarten reports.
Police say the women hit 51-year-old Fazil Teklemariam over the head and stabbed him repeatedly before severing his thumb to access his accounts to pay for Uber rides, marijuana, and booze. One of the women, who is 22 years old, reportedly described the dead Washington, D.C. man as her sugar daddy. Neighbors say she and her 19-year-old co-defendant were frequent guests at his apartment where he was killed.
Now with sports, here's Lucas Davis on News Talk KZRG.
In MLB news, Kansas City rallied back from a 3-run deficit in the opener and won a slugfest in the nightcap on the way to a 6-4 and 8-5 sweep over St. Louis at Busch Stadium in the I-70 series on Wednesday. In Game 1, the Cardinals led 3-0 after 3 innings thanks to the long ball, but the Royals scored 3 times in the 5th to tie it and went up for good with this swing from Salvador Perez.
He hits that hard into center field. Looking up, Newtmar watches that fly out for a home run. 4-3 Kansas City.
KC scored 2 more insurance runs in the 8th and limited St. Louis to 1 in the 9th. In Game 2, Kansas City scored 7 runs in the middle innings to fuel the Twin Bill sweep. Holding a 5-4 lead, the Royals got another big swing from their veteran backstop and DH to put the game out of reach.
Salvador Perez just hit one a mile over the Royals bullpen, over the stands up toward the concourse.
St. Louis is off today and kicks off a 4-game series at Chicago with the opener against the Cubs set for 7:15 on Friday. KC is also off today and kicks off a 3-game series with Boston on Friday at 6:10. Lucas Davis, News Talk KZRG.
I'm Steve Smith.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
Yes, we are. Next news time, 7:30. Breaking news. As it happens, we'll have people there. FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here is KZRG meteorologist Jeff Nordine.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Going to be expecting sunshine and blue skies as our high temperature gets to 93 degrees, clear in the overnight 71, and then we're partly sunny with wide-spaced thunderstorms around in the afternoon, hitting a high of 94. Saturday and Sunday, partly sunny to blue skies at 96 degrees, and then going into next week, we're going to be sunny and blue once again and even hotter with a high of 98. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk KZRG.
It's summertime, folks. 68 right now in Neosho, 70 in Pittsburgh, 72 in Galena, and 72 in Joplin. 100 weather updates every 24 hours on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. KZRG News Time, 7:09.
The 4 states' relationship with the weather, the online profile says complicated. Well, News Talk KZRG has your playbook. It's the Zimmer Storm Center app, totally free to download at your device's app store. The Zimmer Storm Center app is powered by Satterley Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Developed and designed for us, the Zimmer Storm Center app. Download it today. News Talk KZRG.
Well, summer's here and the weather is beautiful. Everyone has a favorite outdoor activity: golf, bike riding, bird watching, long walks. Ask 100 people, you'll get 100 answers. But if everyday aches and pains are keeping you on the sidelines, I have one answer: Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joints, or muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you'll start to feel the difference all day, every day. So whatever you like to do, swimming, pickleball, hanging out in the garden, Relief Factor can help you feel good again and let you enjoy all your favorite outdoor activities all summer long. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
If you're looking for a career focused on helping others relax and feel better, but don't want to commit to years of schooling, we should talk. Hi, I'm Megan James, admissions coordinator at City Point Beauty Academy. And in just 6 months, you could be on your way to becoming a licensed massage therapist. At City Point, you'll learn the art of massage and bodywork with advanced hands-on training. All students are supervised by licensed educators, and financial aid is available for those who qualify. To learn more, schedule a tour online at citypointbeauty.com.
From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
It is pre-Friday, post-Wednesday, post-hump day, really. It's Thursday. Ted Bojorquez.
Steve Smith sitting in this morning for Steve Scott, who is out. He's out.
And Charlie Davis sitting next to Steve Smith,
who normally would be sitting next to Steve Scott, but he's out.
Wow, I'm really glad we were able to clarify all that.
And welcome to kindergarten, guys.
Yeah.
Show and tell is coming up next.
All respond simultaneously.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310. And on your smart speaker, it's News Talk KZRG. That's right, Steve Scott is out. So helping us out this morning is Charlie Davis, who not only is a KZRG fan favorite, but he also happens to be the Jasper County Clerk.
Love what I get to do. Love my job.
Let the record show
Absolutely.
There was no eye roll in that,
No.
despite the
Absolutely
monotone
not.
voice.
You know, I have a job as county clerk that I wake up every morning. I'm excited to go to work. I got great staff, and the job that I get to do, I am very fortunate because I love my job and I love what I get to do.
Yeah, and we definitely appreciate you doing what you do and how well you do it. And Charlie, since you are here, I actually did have a few questions about the elections coming up. I was hoping
you
I
didn't
could
tell
pick
me
your brain
that
on.
you were going to ask me questions today.
It's too late, man. Hey, when you come into the Studio 1Z, you got to come in prepared.
Kindergarten doesn't ask questions.
What are you talking about? Show and tell? What color is it? What's your favorite animal? All stuff like that. Those are the hard-hitting questions.
Those are
we
hard
ask
ones.
here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, Charlie, the Missouri primaries, they're coming up here pretty soon. And there's been a lot of questions about preparedness for those elections. And I'm curious, Charlie Davis, how prepared is Jasper County for these elections right now?
We are very prepared. As a matter of fact, it was Monday. Me and 3 other individuals that are staff members from multiple parties. We got to go down to our undisclosed hidden bunker where we maintain all of our election equipment.
The Bat Cave.
The Bat Cave. We loaded all of the machines up. We actually test every one of the machines. We have ballots that we fill out so we know exactly how the results should be, and we feed them through the machines. And we test the results to make sure that they are correct. So we have 46 machines that go to 46 polling locations. All of them have been programmed. All of them have been tested. All of them have been locked up, zip-tied, and sitting underneath cameras. So that way we watch them 24 hours a day to make sure there's no hanky-panky. So as far as the machines go, we're prepared.
Nice.
Today we get to work on the supply boxes. You know, when you go to the polls, most people think that, it's election day, elections just happen. No, 2 months before the elections actually happen, we are working diligently to make sure that things are done well. So today we are going to work on the supply boxes to make sure that we have all the signs, all the sundry supplies that we need to run the elections. We also have about 1:30 today, our 140 boxes of ballots are going to get delivered. That, again, we take to our non-disclosed hidden bunker location and have them delivered. And then we will we still have to program our ADA equipment. As you know, we use ADA equipment for those that are visually impaired voters that need to vote. We have to still program those, and we will have those programmed next week. Then we will pack all the ballot bags about a week before the election, zip tie them, put the security tabs on them, and get ready for our delivery drivers to deliver them. So Are we prepared? Absolutely.
It sounds like it.
And we're prepared because the statute directs us, not the timeliness when we need to do it,
but how we need to do things. So the testing of the machines before and after the election is in the statute. So we do those things. So we are prepared, and I hope that the voters are prepared too, because we have a lot of things that are going to be on the ballot. Every Republican, every Democrat, every Libertarian is going to be able to choose their candidates that are going to be on the November ballot.
No. Now, Charlie, I'm curious because I know that there is a call from some Republicans, some conservatives to return to hand counting ballots and sort of that. I don't know if a movement is the right word for it, but my question, Charlie, is why is it impossible or silly to do both? To do both, do the machine counting and the hand counting, and then make sure those numbers are exactly the same. Because I understand sincerely the concern about these machines. I don't know how they work. I could imagine someone hacking into them. I don't know if that is the case. I don't know if that's possible. But I also have equal concern about human error and about non-good faith actors counting ballots and saying, "Oh, a vote red? I'm going to put it in the blue pile."
Well,
I have equal concern about those. Can we do both?
Most people don't realize that it was the Republican Party that got away from hand counting the ballots back during the Truman era. They started going towards trying to find some other way to count the ballots because absolutely there's cheating when it comes to hand counting. And there is definitive evidence, proof, whatever you want to call it, of one political party when they're reading down the names of the candidate that the other person is marking down the wrong party.
Right.
There is evidence and there's definitive proof that happened all the time. So the Republican Party said, hey, we need to get away from any potential of there being fraud in the elections. So the way that you do it, let's go to some sort of technology. And, we went to the Chads. Remember 2000, the hanging Chads down in Florida.
Right.
And then, of course, we went to machines that scan. So your question is about the combination of using the machines and hand count. We do that.
Oh,
Missouri
excellent.
statute tells us that on certification day, we are required to hand count no less than 5% of our precincts. We do about 10%. We have 46 polling locations, so we are required by law to count 5 precincts. We usually count 10. Depending on the election. So the Friday after the election, we pull those ballots from those precincts.
Is it random?
It is random.
Okay.
What we try to do is we try to get larger precincts, smaller precincts from different parts of the county. We don't want all of the precincts to be in Joplin. We want them to be from CJ, Webb, Carthage, Sarcoxy, etc. But we actually, the Friday after the election, we have, depending on how big the election is, from one team, a Republican and a Democrat, or during the November election, we will probably have 4 teams, 4 Republicans and 4 Democrats. Each team is split 1-1, and they actually sit down and they hand count the ballot. They have a tally sheet, and they hand count the ballot. And this isn't anything new. I've been county clerk this is my 6th year. We've run almost 20 elections in 6 years, so we do this every election. And you know how many times the hand count has been off from the machines?
How many?
How many guess?
I'll guess 3.
None. Zero. Not a single time has the hand count number been any different than the tally that the machines showed on Tuesday night. So when there are some individuals that say we need to go back to the 1700s and hand count the ballots. Well, in 1700, when we had 13 colonies, and it might take you an hour to count the ballots. But you're talking about
300,
especially large cities like St. Louis that might have 1 million ballots.
Yeah.
How long is it going to take to count that?
So it's
what do us Republicans think when we're done on election night? We tally, we report it, and then we're waiting for St. Louis to turn in their numbers.
Yeah.
All the Republicans say, they're trying to come up with some new ballots or something like that. So imagine if it takes 2 weeks to count ballots.
Right.
And it would take weeks.
Well, and we've seen those complaints before. It's election day, not election week, when it comes to counting those ballots.
And here's another thing that happened.
To your point.
April election, we did have last April election, we did have a county clerk in the state of Missouri decide we're going to hand count the ballots. So she did that. She did program the machines because she wanted to test the machines afterwards. They hand counted the ballots on election night. She reported that it was the most horrible thing that she ever went through because the count was wrong.
Oh, jeez.
Because you can't just count once. you have to count twice.
Right.
And if the number's not the same, you have to count a third time. And you have to keep counting until you come up with the same number that you came up with one time before. So she said it was more expensive. The count was wrong because she fed the ballots through the machines and it didn't add up. So she went back and re-added it, and the machines added them correctly. So the hand count was incorrect. So the individuals that say we need to go back to hand counting, no. We need to use technology, but we need to trust and verify. We verify by hand counting no less than 5% of the precincts on certification day. And if there is an anomaly and they don't add up, then we have the ability to do full recounts.
Right. Now, we're up against the clock here, Charlie, but I was curious, from your knowledge, from your perspective, are there any credible threats or concerns that county clerks, yourself, or others in Missouri should be looking into?
Absolutely. I spent 3 weeks ago, I spent a week in Orlando, Florida at a Department of Homeland Security, cybersecurity conference dealing with elections. And there, we know that there are going to be foreign interferences. The question is, what are they going to do? They are going to attempt to do denial of service on our county websites. They're going to try to disrupt the internet for election night reporting. They're going to try to disrupt the process. That's why it's very important. There's concerns that at the polls in November that there are going to be people that are going to try to disrupt the process. They're going to try to discourage people from voting. So am I concerned? I'm not scared, but I am concerned. But part of the process is I have met with Randy Kaiser, the greatest sheriff, in my opinion, in Missouri. We met with him and we went over what the statutes say people can and cannot do. We came up with a game plan about if there is an incident locally that happens, what are we going to do? So we've come to this conclusion that we are not scared, but we're concerned, and we are prepared to make sure that we can address any of the issues that happen.
Nice. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I got to say, I'm definitely glad to hear it. You definitely sound like you're on the ball.
And remember, 40 years of IT experience that I've had in my life, when somebody says that China hacked our machines through the thermostats in our polling locations, tinfoil hats, conspiracy theorists.
Not the case.
Never happened. Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, we hand counted one of our largest precincts in Jasper County after the November 2020 election. Almost 3,000 ballots in one location.
Oh, my gosh.
The hand count was exactly the same way that the machine count was.
So the Roombas are not coming in and changing votes.
Absolutely not.
Well, that's good to hear. It's News Talk, KZRG.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Minus tomorrow, we're going to be pretty dry as we're tracking not only sunshine and blue skies, but steady temperatures that'll start at 93 for today, dip down to 71 then tonight as we're looking at a clear sky, and then tomorrow we're partly sunny with very wide-spaced thunderstorms hitting a high of 94. Even warmer at 96 over the weekend for both days under partly sunny to blue skies. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk KZRG.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 417-515-PAIN. That's 417-515-PAIN. 417-515-PAIN.
There's never a good time for your truck to break down. You're in the middle of nowhere, you're on a deadline, you got a 24-hour roadside assistance with JL Mobile Truck and Trailer Repair. Hi, I'm Justin. I'm the owner of JL Mobile Truck and Trailer Repair. Our master certified technicians can repair your truck roadside or in shop. We'll keep it maintained so you're safe every time you hit the road. We're here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 417-438-9461 or find us at jlmobilerepair.com.
Sure, you've heard about the California gold rush, but have you ever heard about old Ned Spoon, the Iowa miner?
There's gold in them there fields.
Ned was convinced that he could find gold in the crop fields of Iowa. And eventually, Ned gave up and switched careers because all he found was corn. Don't be like Ned. If you want people to hear, see, and read your message, go where the people are. We're the Idea People at Zimmer Marketing, and we reach 300,000 listeners every month with our 6 award-winning radio stations. Plus, we can help you get in front of eyes and ears with digital ads, print, billboard, videos, web design, and more. Whether you're starting from scratch for your business or you have an established brand ready to go to another level, we can help. Tell your story where the people actually hear it with the Idea People at Zimmer Marketing. Get started on your custom brand today at ZimmerMarketing.com and see why we're the fastest growing marketing company in the 4 states. Welcome to the Zimmer Marketing family.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. The Biden administration has taken steps to close a loophole that allowed foreign steelmakers like China to dodge tariffs by funneling product through Mexico. The new rules require greater supply chain reporting to enforce a 25% tariff on imported steel not melted or poured in Mexico. Pittsburgh's largest steelmaker, U.S. Steel, said the change strengthens demand for steel that is mined, melted, and poured in North America. Samsung will launch an upgraded version of its voice assistant Bixby this year based on its own artificial intelligence models. Samsung's leadership said the Bixby upgrade is part of Samsung's broader push to market AI features, and the company will maintain its strategy to allowing multiple voice assistants on its devices. Bixby first launched in 2017. Futures are slightly lower. Wednesday, the Dow Industrials gained 429. The Nasdaq up 218. That's Your Money Now.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ROCK to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ROCK to 42424. That's ROCK to 42424.
It's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, it's News Talk KZRG. Ted Bajorquez.
Steve Smith.
Charlie Davis.
And Steve Scott is somewhere duct taped to a chair in the wilderness. Who knows? I'm just kidding. He's going to be back tomorrow.
In my cellar, in my basement. Sorry, Steve. I'll let you out when I get home.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully you put out a little water bowl for him.
No, I did.
Bowl of water.
A bowl of water.
Well, I want to get in a little bit on this really quickly here before we get into the news. A new study came out in Nature, which is a pretty major scientific magazine, that shows that lithium-ion batteries that are essential to really this whole green energy transition are, quote, an unrecognized and potentially growing source of chemical pollution. Which basically means it might not be as much of a green slam dunk as some would like it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this study was looking to find out whether or not chemicals used in these batteries pose an environmental risk, environmental hazards. And plot twist, they do.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people have been saying for a long time, but now we actually have at least some data to back it up. Now, specifically, the chemicals that are in question here are what are known as PFAS, or also known as forever chemicals. Now, you may have heard this term from the famous DuPont stories. DuPont was famously involved in creating PFAS, and there was all sorts of these famous lawsuits and whatnot. But basically, the thing you really need to know, I think, about PFAS and, again, quote-unquote, forever chemicals is there's not really a way for biological life to break it down. So if you get these forever chemicals in your system, they're pretty much in your system forever. And that applies to animals, that applies to plants, pretty much any form of biodiversity. And one of the reasons why is because PFAS, they're essentially man-made chemicals. They're frankly just not natural. And so this study came out and showed that these PFAS in these lithium-ion batteries, again, that are essential for this green energy transition, are very much in play. And the idea isn't just to rip down green energy. I think Priuses are cool. I love Tesla. I love everything they're doing with their. I'm pro electric vehicle in environments where it's appropriate. And that's what these scientists said. They said we weren't trying to rip it down. We are legitimately concerned about the environment, and we wanted to see if this is something we need to look into. And their conclusion is that, yes, we need to look into the development of these lithium-ion batteries that are going into these cars, going into these machines, and make sure that these companies are, in fact, producing them appropriately, and more importantly, are once they're out of their life cycle, they're exposing of them appropriately.
We all should be able to much easier dispose of our used batteries. When I have used batteries, I think, gee, I don't want to throw these away, but am I really going to drive all the way to someplace, far away to dispose of them at a facility that sells batteries? No, they need to have some place where you can just take and put your old batteries and throw them away somehow.
That's a really good point. Yeah maybe that's something they could partner up with, and I'm just spitballing here, with like the post office. Every single post office or every single city and township has a post office. Put a little battery disposal bucket there or something.
Kind of like we have the flag disposal boxes at the courthouses.
Yeah,
VFW clubs. A lot of places have them. Yeah. So why not have that? Well, nuclear waste has got half-life, and nuclear waste is going to be here forever, and it's going to be the same thing with the lithium-ion batteries. And have you ever seen a lithium-ion fire?
No.
In a car?
No. Oh, I've seen car fires.
Yeah, they can't put it out. Yeah, they just let it burn because you can't just throw water on it.
Yeah.
So there's a big problem. I think there's a mining issue. The vast majority of lithium comes from China, who hire child
Sure, there's moral issues. Absolutely,
there's moral issues when it comes to that. There is there is not an infinite supply of it. So if you're focusing on lithium-ion only, but if you look at, I think it's Honda, they're doing hydrogen cars, where you can literally take water and go through an electrolysis process and separate the oxygen and the hydrogen, and so you're using water, and you know what what comes out of your tailpipe?
Steam.
Water. Steam.
Water, yeah.
Steam. So there's absolutely no CO2 emission. There's nothing.
That's pretty cool.
So why are we creating these desires to have these electric cars that run off a very dangerous chemical that have long-term negative effects when we could be doing hydrogen, which have absolutely no negative effects?
I'll tell you why. Lobbyists.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, for years, oil companies were huge lobbyists, and they prevented electric cars from being made.
Yeah, no. Hey, coming up after the news in about 10 minutes here, Missouri State Representative Ben Baker is going to be joining us on News Talk KZRG.
At 7:33, I'm Steve Smith.
And I'm Ted Bohorquez.
And here's what's trending on News Talk KZRG. Crossbow murders.
Skimming scam.
Biden unions. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Jeff Nordine.
Sunny overall, minus some wide-spaced thunderstorms for tomorrow. Complete details in moments with your KZRG weather.
Heading for a high of about 93, 94 today. Your complete KZRG forecast follows sports at 8 after the hour. It's 68 in Neosho, 70 in Pittsburgh, 72 in Galena and Joplin on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. Police have caught a man wanted over a triple crossbow murder at a house near London in the UK. Jonathan Savage reports.
The manhunt ended in a cemetery. Kyle Clifford found injured by police and taken into custody. An alert went out for the 26-year-old after 3 bodies were discovered in the commuter town of Bushey, northwest of London. 61-year-old Carol Hunt and her daughters Hannah, who is 28, and 25-year-old Louise were found dead. Police say a crossbow was used in the murders. The victims were the wife and daughters of a prominent BBC horse racing announcer. One colleague broadcasting in tears, calling it a heartbreaking day.
6 foreign nationals that are in the U.S. illegally have been charged in a conspiracy to install skimming devices on bank ATMs. Ted Linder gave News Talk KZRG the details.
The 6 illegal immigrants are now facing federal charges accused of a vast scheme to defraud Americans by installing the devices on bank ATMs and at retail store checkout units, all in an effort to obtain victims' credit card details to make purchases and even create new fake credit cards used to withdraw cash from victims' bank accounts. Federal prosecutors say the skimming devices were installed at a single major retailer in 22 separate locations across Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, and New York.
President Biden, in the midst of hosting NATO allies in Washington, visited with members of the AFL-CIO. More from Gernal Scott.
In campaign mode, President Biden gave credit to unions for helping build up the economy and creating jobs, while at the same time highlighting what some are saying about former President Trump's ideas.
They say his proposals are going to bankrupt the country. His proposals are going to cause a recession.
And as questions persist about his ability to go another 4 years, President Biden says high rent and food prices are among things still to tackle.
A whole range of things we're going to get done with your help in the second term.
The president is counting on union support he's held on to for many decades.
It's 72 at 737 FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
A big win for a Northeast Oklahoma defense attorney. News Talk KZRG's Ty Albright with more.
Well, after several years of litigation, an appeals court has upheld the dismissal of all charges against Winston Connor of Grove. He had previously been accused of racketeering, assault, pandering, witness intimidation, and other crimes after allegedly communicating with a convicted murderer. But with the ruling this week, every case against Connor has been dropped. His attorneys say his reputation is and should be fully restored. I'm Ty Albright, News Talk KZRG.
Well, the DOJ claims that Missouri doesn't do a good job of treating the mentally ill. A scathing report says the state too often places people in nursing facilities instead of offering them community-based services. Missouri Governor Mike Parson responded.
The federal government makes those kind of accusations, and I'm not sure they're correct to start off with, but I think those are things that we can deal with.
The DOJ report stems from a 1.5-year-long investigation that says Missouri may have violated the American Disabilities Act. Well, it's 72 degrees at 7:38. If you see news, text us, 417-782-1310. It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. 2 women are charged with cutting off a man's thumb, using it then to access his bank account and pay for Uber rides for themselves. Gary Baumgarten reports on that.
Police say the women hit 51-year-old Fazil Teklemariam over the head and stabbed him repeatedly before severing his thumb to access his accounts to pay for Uber rides, marijuana, and booze. One of the women, who is 22 years old, reportedly described the dead Washington, D.C. man as her sugar daddy. Neighbors say she and her 19-year-old co-defendant were frequent guests at his apartment where he was killed.
Now with sports, here's Lucas Davis on News Talk KZRG.
In MLB news, Kansas City rallied back from a 3-run deficit in the opener and won a slugfest in the nightcap on the way to a 6-4 and 8-5 sweep over St. Louis at Busch Stadium in the I-70 series on Wednesday. In Game 1, the Cardinals led 3-0 after 3 innings thanks to the long ball, but the Royals scored 3 times in the 5th to tie it and went up for good with this swing from Salvador Perez.
He hits that hard into center field. Looking up, Newkmar watches that fly out for a home run. 4-3 Kansas City.
KC scored 2 more insurance runs in the 8th and limited St. Louis to 1 in the 9th. In Game 2, Kansas City scored 7 runs in the middle innings to fuel the Twin Bill sweep. Holding a 5-4 lead, the Royals got another big swing from their veteran backstop and DH to put the game out of reach.
Salvador Perez just hit one a mile over the Royals bullpen, over the stands up toward the concourse.
St. Louis is off today and kicks off a 4-game series at Chicago with the opener against the Cubs set for 7:15 on Friday. KC is also off today and kicks off a 3-game series with Boston on Friday at 6:10. Lucas Davis, News Talk KZRG.
I'm Steve Smith.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
Next news coming up at 8 o'clock. Breaking news as it happens. FM 102.9, 105.9 AM 1310. And on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. Remember, no one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Jeff Nordine.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Minus tomorrow, we're going to be pretty dry as we're tracking not only sunshine and blue skies, but steady temperatures that'll start at 93 for today, dip down to 71 then tonight as we're looking at a clear sky, and then tomorrow we're partly sunny with very wide-spaced thunderstorms hitting a high of 94. Even warmer at 96 over the weekend for both days under partly sunny to blue skies. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk KZRG.
KZRG Storm Tracker weather showing some clouds out there, but some blue sky too. It's 68 in Neosho, 70 in Pittsburgh, 72 in Galena, and 72 in Joplin. 100, that's the number. Weather updates every 24 hours on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. KZRG News Time, 7:41.
When the pollen is more than your allergies can handle, American Family Care is here to help. When you need care now, you need AFC Urgent Care. American Family Care Urgent Care. They're open 7 days a week, accept most insurance, and there's no appointment necessary. Plus, you can save your spot online at afcurgentcare.com/Joplin. AFC Urgent Care, 320 South Geneva next to North Park Mall in Joplin.
Hinkle's Ace Hardware, they got what you need there.
Local owners means local solutions when you need them. At Hinkle's Ace Hardware, we began the spring by offering Fly Spot Bait. It can quickly kill flies in restaurants, around dumpsters, at the ball field, or on patios. We've also brought in, for a second year, the newest mosquito control, Insecto. It was created by the University of Florida for our military troops and provides easy, safe, 90-day control of mosquitoes in a 3,000 square foot area. Now as flea season ramps up, it's time for Martin's Insect Growth Regulator. Most home insect sprays kill only adult insects and leave eggs and nymphs to hatch and procreate, creating a never-ending cycle. By adding Martin's Insect Growth Regulator to your home insect sprays, you'll break the cycle for fleas, roaches, and even bed bugs. Local owners, local buyers, solving local problems with products you won't find at the big boxes. Hinkle's Ace Hardware, neighbors helping neighbors.
Neighbors helping neighbors. Hinkle's Ace Hardware Store.
I've got a really long one.
Oh, I bet mine is way longer than yours.
The age-old debate, who has the longer honey-do list? We're Callie and Daniel Ipock from Ipock Electric and Solar. If your honey-do list has electrical issues, we can help. My husband Daniel and the crew are amazing at helping people with any electrical issues on their list.
Broken switches, outlets that don't work, new lighting in their home, or wiring up that addition on their house. We can do any electrical project.
In fact, they are so good at it that Daniel still hasn't fixed my garbage disposal switch.
It still works.
The people with the shortest honey-do list will proudly tell you, I have IPOC. So if you are tired of waiting on someone to fix that electrical problem,
or you know a professional should take a look, IPOC Electric and Solar is ready to help, from residential to large commercial electrical service. We can mark that project off your list. Find us on Facebook or at ipocelectric.com. That's IPOCKelectric.com, and join our happy customers that say, I have IPOC.
The doctor's office that mixed up your files has your Social Security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info and last 3 addresses. Your info is in endless places that could accidentally expose your info to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go.
The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, it's News Talk KZRG. Ted Bajorquez,
Steve Smith,
and Charlie Davis. And joining us live this morning is Missouri State Representative Ben Baker.
The legislative lion, right?
The legislative lion, roaring loud. How you doing this morning, Ben?
I'm good. How are you all doing?
Very good indeed. Well, I appreciate you joining us. Well, Ben, the legislative session is technically over currently. And for those that aren't familiar with how the process works, what are lawmakers up to these days?
Oh, sure. So, it's campaign season. So on top of the regular business activities, for me anyway, for the interim, to make a living, there's a lot of other campaign events to attend, family stuff, going on during the summer. And as the state chairman for the American Legislative Exchange Council, I also attend their annual conference every year, usually in late July. They're a conservative policy network that's very helpful to those of us who are conservatives working on good policy. There's also interim committees that I attend. I sit on several committees that meet year-round. Joint Committee on Administrative Rules meets year-round, Certificate of Need Committee, and recently was appointed by the Speaker to be a member of the new committee dealing with illegal immigration. So actually the first meeting for that committee is today, and I'm on my way to Jefferson City right now to attend that. As you well know, this is a major issue in our country right now and in our state as well. And since the federal government isn't doing anything about illegal immigration, trying to find ways that at least we can do what we have the authority to do here in our state. So the crimes that are being committed by these illegals all over the country are just horrendous. And this is the problem with having wide open borders and no vetting for immigrants. I want the best and the brightest from other countries that want to immigrate here. I want people to assimilate to our culture. I want them to be an asset to our society. And, we're at a place where, unfortunately, we treat illegal immigrants better than our own citizens and our own veterans. And that's just not acceptable. And I think the consequences of that are dire. So those are some of the things during the interim that we're working on. Always busy. People think it's a part-time job because session only goes January through the middle of May. But there's plenty of other things going on, constituent work as well. So,
Ben,
very busy.
Ben, let me ask you a question. So our legislature in Washington, D.C., passed a law that says that only U.S. citizens can vote in our elections. Seems like a no-brainer to me and probably to you. And I know the House passed a bill that would require citizenship to be placed on driver's license. And it seems like the left always fights those things. And it looks like the Republicans are just trying to protect the integrity of our elections. Why do you think it's so hard to get people to be on board to make sure that our elections are done correctly and that only U.S. citizens are the ones that are electing our leaders and voting on the initiative petitions?
Well, I think it's pretty clear to me that what the left is trying to do with illegal immigration is to eventually give them the right to vote. We're already seeing that in some states, and we're already seeing that on the difference between state elections and federal elections too. And so, yes, anytime we try to put election integrity in place, whether it's voter ID or citizenship to vote, the Democrats always vote against it. And that's always puzzled me and really just confirms my suspicion that this is an orchestrated thing to be able to really recruit voters for their side. We did pass this year an issue that will go on the ballot in November that will include that question of whether only citizens should vote, and I think Missourians will vote. Probably the overwhelming majority will vote in favor of that amendment. I would think.
You know, it's kind of strange because there's no other country on the face of this earth that allows tourists or visitors to their countries to vote. It's just crazy to think that certain group of Americans want to allow visitors or illegals the opportunity to vote in our country.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a vexing scenario, to be sure. It's Missouri State Representative Ben Baker here on News Talk KZRG. Ben, we're up against the clock a little bit, but I did want to get your thinking on this issue. Kansas is pushing to seemingly lure the Chiefs and the Royals over to their side of Kansas City. What are your thoughts on this move, and how do you expect the Missouri legislature to respond?
Sure. So this is the problem with states throwing tax incentives at sports teams specifically, or even businesses. The state with the bigger offer wins the spot for the time being. And sure, I want them to stay here in Missouri. But is it the taxpayers' responsibility to up the ante to keep them here? These teams make millions and millions of dollars. I think it's their responsibility. And, they should stay true to the history of the team, realize that they're here because they have fans in this state. And if you change that, then you change the very core of who they are. I'm sure there will be some in the legislature that will have no problem dipping into the taxpayer coffers to, dangle the carrot in front of these teams. I won't be one of those. But I don't think it should be the taxpayers' responsibility.
Excellent. It's Missouri State Representative Ben Baker here on News Talk KZRG. So you think that likely some members of the legislature would propose some sort of plan, but do you think that it would go very far, that plan?
I think if I were just to guess, it's hard to kind of predict that, but I would say that you would probably have a majority that would be in favor of more incentives for the teams. If I look at the makeup of the legislature right now, because that's just the way it is. But again, I think the principle of that matters. In the end, I think they're going to be still here in Missouri, but we'll see what happens.
Missouri State Representative Ben Baker, thanks very much for joining us this morning, and thanks for representing our area in Jeff City today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
As to you, sir. Drive safe. We'll talk to you again next week. That was the Legislative Lion, Ben Baker, on News Talk KZRG.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Minus tomorrow, we're going to be pretty dry as we're tracking not only sunshine and blue skies, but steady temperatures that'll start at 93 for today, dip down to 71 then tonight as we're looking at a clear sky, and then tomorrow we're partly sunny with very wide-spaced thunderstorms hitting a high of 94. Even warmer at 96 over the weekend for both days under partly sunny to blue skies. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk KZRG.
We need to replace the flooring immediately. It's worn out and embarrassing.
No, the AC should take priority. It's on its last leg.
Can we do both?
How? You selling a kidney?
We could refinance the house.
Whoa, no way. We'll lose our good interest rate. I'd rather you sell a kidney.
You can complete all of those home improvement projects without losing your rate with Community Bank and Trust. With a home equity loan or line of credit, you can update the bathroom, do the add-on, or get that new heat and air unit without giving up your great mortgage rate. CBT has a variety of options with low costs and very competitive interest rates. Plus, they can work out payment plans that fit into your budget. See what your home's equity could do for you with a home equity loan or line of credit from Community Bank and Trust. Get started at one of the local employee-owned CBT locations or at cbthomebank.com. Community Bank and Trust, where trust is so important, it's in our name. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 580491.
Zimmer Marketing is proud to partner with 2024 Zimmer Cares winner Trinity Circle Horses Healing Hearts. Sometimes trauma is overwhelming. You feel out of control. It feels like things won't get better, but they can with help from Trinity Circle Horses Healing Hearts, a therapy ranch dedicated to helping you heal mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Trinity Circle Horses Healing Hearts is a sanctuary for those seeking peace and renewal. They help heal any man, woman, or child who've experienced life-changing trauma with the help of rescue horses who've healed hearts. With the help of Trinity Circle, you'll feel empowered to navigate life's challenges without feeling overwhelmed. You'll find peace, have better days, and do the things you want in life without fear. Find Trinity Circle Horses Healing Hearts on Facebook to learn how you can support their programs, or call 417-455-1200 and support the mission of healing hearts, one horse hug at a time. Zimmer Cares, helping local charities deliver their message to the hearts and minds of the 4 states.
Hey guys, it's Jill Como with Como Jewelry, and today I want to talk to men of a certain age. Maybe you're the guy with the big anniversary this year. Perhaps your wife just earned a huge promotion at work. Or maybe your baby girl just got engaged and you can't believe the size of the rock on her finger. There's so many milestones worth marking throughout your crazy journey together. Don't let the sparkle die with that first and only engagement ring. Give her something to remind her that you're proud of her, that you love your life together, and that you would choose her again every single day. Como Jewelry in Pittsburgh and Joplin.
26% of Americans suffer from the puffy-eyed, high-as-a-kite demeanor, with itchy eyeballs, runny noses, sneezing and wheezing, as Satan himself manifests. Allergy season. We can't help you fight hay fever, ragweed, ozone, smog, or the entities from hell. Just weather updates. News Talk, KZRG. Depend on it. It's the KZRG Morning Challenge.
Your opportunity right now to win a complimentary taco, free chips and salsa from Ghetto Taco. To be the winner, we'll be the first on the phone with the correct answer to the question. If you think you have the answer, here's the number to call. 417-782-1310. Here's Charlie in here bumping into the mic.
Oh, sorry about that.
All right, today's question is... where did it go? Oh my goodness, of course I lost it. Here it is. What famous person was killed outside the Dakota Building in New York? Little history question for you.
So they're going to be able to win taco and
chips and salsa
and dip from the award-winning Ghetto Tacos.
The
right?
award-winning
That's
Ghetto
what I thought.
Taco.
Yum.
An award not only from me, because I like them, but also from the Food Network, which is a much more reputable award-giving organization than myself.
Yes,
indeed.
So somebody was killed outside the Dakota Building in New York.
What famous person, yes, was killed outside the Dakota Building in New York? I got a couple of juicy hints for you if you don't get it. News Talk KZRG, what is your guess?
Judy Garland.
Ooh, that's a good guess, but no, that is not it. News Talk KZRG, what you got for us?
John Lennon.
Ding, 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 ding.
Correct. It was John Lennon. So let me ask you, are you a Beatles fan, music fan, or a history fan? How'd you know that?
All three. Well, I knew it because when I was stationed in Afghanistan, I got into rock and roll trivia because there was nothing else to do and I was bored.
Oh, wow. So this question was made for you, sir. Who do we got here with us?
Scott.
Hey, Scott, what's your favorite radio station?
KZRG.
Oh, love to hear it, man. Love to hear it. Hey, don't go anywhere, Scott. We're going to get your information down in just a second here, and you, my friend, have just won yourself a complimentary taco, free chips and salsa from Ghetto Taco. Yeah, John Lennon was killed outside the Dakota Building in New York. Sad. I remember, now I know, I don't remember it, of course, but I know Steve Smith here is our resident Beatles expert, and he has played some footage for us of that fateful day. Not of the shooting, but of announcing his death.
Actually, that was Howard Cosell, and he did it on Monday Night Football. Very popular at the time. He told it to a large chunk of the nation that was watching that football.
And who was it that killed John Lennon?
Well, the guy that was convicted of killing Lennon was Mark David Chapman.
What's with all these murderers having three names? We got Lee Harvey Oswald,
question. Yeah.
Mark Davy Chapman. Wasn't the guy that shot MLK have 3 names too?
I'm getting rid of my middle name.
That was
John Wilkes Booth.
James
John
Earl
Wilkes
Ray.
Booth. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I never even thought about that, Ted.
Ted Mortimer Bojorquez.
Yeah, you got to watch
right.
out for those
right.
3 names.
I don't see you as an assassin, Ted.
Well, that means I'm very good at my job.
If you've ever heard him sing, he murders the song, but that's as close, as close as you get to.
Yeah, precisely. Hey, coming up after the news at 8:10 in about 10 minutes here, we're going to be joined by Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson. We're going to be getting Burleson's thoughts on Biden potentially bowing out of the race, whether or not he thinks it's a good idea. We're also going to pick his brain on the now famous Project 2025. And of course, we're going to be asking the real tough questions. His thoughts on the Trump-Biden golf match. Is it going to happen? Is it not? Who knows? That's coming up in 10 minutes on News Talk KZRG.
The 4 states news, talk, and severe weather station. KZRG, KIXQ HD2, Joplin. A free service of Zimmer Marketing.
At 8 o'clock, I'm Steve Smith.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
And here's what's trending on News Talk KZRG. Crossbow murders. Skimming scam. And Biden unions. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Jeff Nordine.
Sunny overall, minus some wide-spaced thunderstorms for tomorrow. Complete details in moments with your KZRG weather.
Heading for a high of about 94 today. Your complete KZRG forecast follows KZRG Sports at about 8 after the hour. Right now we have some clouds, but some sun too. Some nice blue sky peeking out. 70 in Neosho, 72 in Pittsburgh, 72 in Galena, and 72 in Joplin on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. Police have caught a man wanted over a triple crossbow murder at a house near London in the UK. Jonathan Savage tells News Talk KZRG.
The manhunt ended in a cemetery. Kyle Clifford found injured by police and taken into custody. An alert went out for the 26-year-old after 3 bodies were discovered in the commuter town of Bushey, northwest of London. 61-year-old Carol Hunt and her daughters Hannah, who is 28, and 25-year-old Louise were found dead. Police say a crossbow was used in the murders. The victims were the wife and daughters of a prominent BBC horse racing announcer. One colleague broadcasting in tears, calling it a heartbreaking day.
6 foreign nationals in the U.S. illegally have been charged in a conspiracy to install skimming devices on bank ATMs. That's what's illegal, I believe, allegedly. Ted Linder has more on that story for News Talk KZRG.
The 6 illegal immigrants are now facing federal charges accused of a vast scheme to defraud Americans by installing the devices on bank ATMs and at retail store checkout units, all in an effort to obtain victims' credit card details to make purchases and even create new fake credit cards used to withdraw cash from victims' bank accounts. Federal prosecutors say the skimming devices were installed at a single major retailer in 22 separate locations across Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, and New York.
Well, President Biden, in the midst of hosting NATO allies in Washington yesterday, visited with members of the country's largest union federation, the AFL-CIO. More on that from Gernal Scott.
In campaign mode, President Biden gave credit to unions for helping build up the economy and creating jobs, while at the same time highlighting what some are saying about former President Trump's ideas.
They say his proposals are going to bankrupt the country. His proposals are going to cause a recession.
And as questions persist about his ability to go another 4 years, President Biden says high rent and food prices are among things still to tackle.
A whole range of things we're going to get done with your help in the second term.
The president is counting on union support he's held on to for many decades.
The mercury showing 72 at 8:03 at FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. Well, Joplin police have identified now the semi-truck driver who died in a crash on I-44. It happened Tuesday morning. News Talk KZRG's Ty Albright has details.
Officers tell us that 58-year-old Mario Suarez of Blue Springs, Missouri, was traveling east on the interstate when his vehicle went off the road near exit 13. He hit the center median cable barrier and then rolled over. Now, the eastbound lanes of I-44 were closed for several hours as crews were cleaning up a corrosive chemical that was in the tractor trailer that was being hauled when the crash occurred. I'm Ty Albright, News Talk KZRG.
Well, it's a pop culture convention. It's called JomoCon, and it will be coming to Joplin High School on Saturday, July 20th. The event starts at 10 in the morning and ends at 8 p.m. Jason Bright has some details for News Talk KZRG.
This is for anybody, from kids from the age of 5 all the way up to, anyone well past the retirement age. So if you enjoy just seeing people having a good time, dressing up in really intricate costumes, and then just learning about this kind of culture, you're going to enjoy yourself.
For more info on JomoCon, all you have to do is go to newstalkkzrg.com. 72 at 8:05. If you see news, give us a text. The number 417-782-1310. It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
Freeman Health System announced its plans to open the Freeman Southeast Kansas in Frontenac. The 170,000 square foot building that will hold 50 hospital beds will be located on East 600 Avenue, just north of the Compton Greyhound Park. Freeman Health System President and CEO Paula Baker told News Talk KZRG the hospital will also train medical students.
We plan on having medical students at the new hospital here, and that will be a wonderful training ground for the next generation of physicians, but it's also very advantageous for Southeast Kansas. When a medical student or a resident gets embedded in a community, they oftentimes will stay, and that will help bring qualified physicians to an underserved area.
Well, it's a bizarre story. 2 women charged with cutting off a man's thumb and using it then to access his accounts and also to pay for their Uber rides. Gary Baumgarten tells News Talk KZRG.
Police say the women hit 51-year-old Fazil Teklemariam over the head and stabbed him repeatedly before severing his thumb to access his accounts to pay for Uber rides, marijuana, and booze. One of the women, who is 22 years old, reportedly described the dead Washington, D.C. man as her sugar daddy. Neighbors say she and her 19-year-old co-defendant were frequent guests at his apartment where he was killed.
Now with sports, here's Lucas Davis on News Talk KZRG.
In MLB news, Kansas City rallied back from a 3-run deficit in the opener and won a slugfest in the nightcap on the way to a 6-4 and 8-5 sweep over St. Louis at Busch Stadium in the I-70 series on Wednesday. In Game 1, the Cardinals led 3-0 after 3 innings thanks to the long ball, but the Royals scored 3 times in the 5th to tie it and went up for good with this swing from Salvador Perez.
He hits that hard into center field. Looking up, Nootbaar watches that fly out for a home run. 4-3 Kansas City.
KC scored 2 more insurance runs in the 8th and limited St. Louis to 1 in the 9th. In Game 2, Kansas City scored 7 runs in the middle innings to fuel the Twin Bill sweep. Holding a 5-4 lead, the Royals got another big swing from their veteran backstop and DH to put the game out of reach.
Salvador Perez just hit one a mile over the Royals bullpen, over the stands up toward the concourse.
St. Louis is off today and kicks off a 4-game series at Chicago with the opener against the Cubs set for 7:15 on Friday. KC is also off today and kicks off a 3-game series with Boston on Friday at 6:10. Lucas Davis, News Talk KZRG.
I'm Steve Smith.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
Your next news coming up at 8:30. Breaking news, though, as it happens. FM 102.9, 105.9, 1310 on the AM dial and on your smart speaker. News Talk KZRG. Remember, no one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Jeff Nordine.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Going to be expecting sunshine and blue skies as our high temperature gets to 93 degrees, clear in the overnight 71, and then we're partly sunny with wide-spaced thunderstorms around in the afternoon, hitting a high of 94. Saturday and Sunday, partly sunny to blue skies at 96 degrees, and then going into next week, we're going to be sunny and blue once again, and even hotter with a high of 98. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk KZRG.
Nothing actually showing on the KZRG Storm Tracker weather radar right now. No storms or anything like that at this point. It is partly sunny, some blue, and some clouds up there too. 70 in Neosho, 72 in Pittsburgh, hanging in there at 72 in Galena and Joplin too. Remember, we have 100 weather updates every 24 hours on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. KZRG News Time, 8:09.
Get the latest news.
I am proud to go to prison. If this is what it takes to stand up to tyranny, if this is what it takes to stand up to the Garland, corrupt, criminal DOJ.
My predecessor and the MAGA Republicans in Congress are trying to undo all this progress. They still deny climate change even exists.
For you.
People are looking at the last 3.5 years, and for the most part, they like the choices and the policies that this president's pursuing.
News Talk, KZRG. Depend on it.
Well, summer's here and the weather is beautiful. Everyone has a favorite outdoor activity: golf, bike riding, bird watching, long walks. Ask 100 people, you'll get 100 answers. But if everyday aches and pains are keeping you on the sidelines, I have one answer: Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joints, or muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you'll start to feel the difference all day, every day. So whatever you like to do, swimming, pickleball, hanging out in the garden, Relief Factor can help you feel good again and let you enjoy all your favorite outdoor activities all summer long. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
Zimmer Marketing is proud to partner with local businesses and encourage you to shop local first.
Commercial and residential plumbing are no problem for MC Plumbing. Count on MC Plumbing to get the job done right with straightforward pricing, warranty guaranteed work, and 0% financing for approved customers. Call MC Plumbing in Neosho today.
Local businesses are the backbone of our communities. Zimmer Marketing encourages you to shop local first.
From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, it's News Talk KZRG. Ted Bojorquez.
And the one and only Charlie Davis.
Yes, indeed. And joining us this morning is Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson.
Woo-hoo, the best congressman ever.
How you doing this morning, Congressman?
Thank God there's only one Charlie Davis.
Thanks, Eric. I appreciate that, but I agree with you.
Well, Congressman Burleson, in the news and seems like everywhere in politics right now, the big hubba is whether or not Biden is going to stay in the race, running under the Democratic ticket for president. Now, from a citizen's perspective, Biden stepping out of the race to me is a good thing because he could win. And if he does, he's leading the nation for another 4 years, which is a little scary. But from a Republican strategic standpoint, if Biden is the Democratic nominee, for those centrists, for those undecided, for those that aren't just anti-Trump, Biden seems like such a defeatable opponent to me. Would it, from a Republican strategist standpoint, wouldn't it be advantageous to keep Biden in the race? He seems so defeatable again that Trump could really wipe the floor with him. What are your thoughts on that, or do you think it's imperative that Biden step out?
I think that what you just said is absolutely right at this point, and that's why I was worried after the debate night that it went too well. I think I said that on your show the next day. It went too well because now they're talking about replacing him, and if they replace him, then because with a new candidate that hasn't had time to be vetted, people haven't had time to look at their flaws and all of that, everything seems positive. And so it could be pretty. I think we're in scary waters if the Democratic Party can somehow pull off replacing him. But it's not so easy. That there's that PAC that's, I think it's like $300 million. That it belongs to Biden-Harris. It doesn't. You can't just transfer money to another candidate. So I don't know what they're planning to do. But I think that and Biden holds all the cards, and so does Harris. So if Biden says I'm staying in, I don't know they can do anything about that. He holds all the cards. He holds the electors. And if Harris says, if he does step out, Harris immediately will step in. I think that it's either going to be Joe Biden or Kamala Harris as the nominee. All this speculation about Michelle Obama or Gavin Newsom stepping in as the presidential candidate, I think is logistically would be very, very difficult to accomplish.
Now, Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson, you are Southwest Missouri's eyes and ears on what's going on in D.C. From what you're seeing there, from what you're hearing in those circles, is there concern of Biden running amongst Republicans, amongst Democrats? Or do they want him to stay in, and are the Democrats just putting on a brave face, or are they trying to oust him actively?
Well, they've had some. I think that there's certainly people that are worried about their race and the down ticket impact, the coattails impact that it might have. So you're seeing a lot of the moderate candidates come publicly. And I say moderate, I mean candidates from purple districts that they could lose their district. Those Democrats are coming out and asking for Biden to step down because they know that it might mean that they lose the race. But then the rest of them are for whatever reason, there's some people that are just blindly loyal. I love Dan Goldman, how blindly loyal he is. He is, he literally said something to the effect of that Biden, after talking with Biden, that he found him to be the sharpest person he's ever met. And I thought, wow, that
what has he met, 5 people?
Even at his best days, I don't think that doesn't sound too good.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, but yeah, there's a lot of them that are still defending him. The Democrats had a caucus meeting, same time that we were having ours. Every week we have caucus meeting at 9:00 in the morning Eastern time on a Tuesday. And Democrats were having their meeting, and it would have been fascinating to be a fly on the wall. But here's what is interesting this week, Ted and Charlie, is that the press are leaving us alone this week. I literally walk to the Capitol steps and back, and the people that I've become friends with that are in the press, they're like, well, you're not a Democrat. We're focused on the Democrats this week. So they're trying to get every soundbite they can from Democrats.
Yeah, no, it's just complete chaos there. So it's interesting to hear from you, Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson, that even just anecdotally, as you're cruising around the D.C. area, even the press, just in your day-to-day, they're all on the whole Dem thing, which is really mind-boggling how quickly they 180'd on defending Biden and now are really pestering them about it. To switch gears here on you, Congressman, the Heritage Foundation has their now fairly famous Project 2025. Now, I know that you've spoken about it. You've tweeted some stuff about it. What are your thoughts on Project 2025?
This is not anything new. I mean, the Heritage Foundation did this in 2016. It's more. It's at the end of the day, this is what any party is going to do to get prepared for the possibility of what are we going to do when we win. And I would think that voters would say, well, thank God you're actually planning, you're planning for a victory and what you're actually going to do should you take lead. That's what 2025 is from the grassroots perspective. You've got Heritage and other groups that are kind of coming together and forming, a very quick action plan for because at the end of the day, what President Trump did in 2016, and as great as a person he was, I think he underestimated how deep the swamp is and how much the swamp would resist him. So there are political appointed people up here, and every one of them should have been fired when Trump took office, and been replaced with people who are friendly or at least respect the Constitution and the rule of law and this what you and I would call our republic. But that's not what happened, and as a result, you saw every part of the deep state do things to undermine him. At every turn, from the FBI to the Department of Justice, they were out to get him from the beginning. And I think that we have to be prepared for that this next go around. And that's what 2025 is. It's vetting people for particular roles throughout all of the federal government, knowing that these Democrat political appointees are going to have to be vacated. And we have to be prepared to know who would we like to put in those positions. That's all it is. It's not even what Trump is doing. It's what the grassroots conservatives organizations are trying to do to provide something for Trump. If he chooses to take their recommendations, he can. If he chooses to ignore them, he can do that too. But at the end of the day, I think it's a good thing somebody's doing some research.
Yeah, and to your point, I remember in the early days of Trump's presidency, the left and the Democrats were all complaining about, it's so chaotic, it's all chaos. Well, now here's a plan, Project 2025, to avoid chaos. That's sort of a step-by-step, and they're complaining about that now, too.
Yeah, and they're trying to demonize it. Like, they're trying to make it, because the truth is they're not winning in the campaign against Trump and Biden. So they're pivoting and they're trying to create they're trying to turn the phrase 2025 into some kind of nefarious, Bilderberg group, like conspiracy. And it's just absurd. I would encourage anybody, if you just to dispel it completely, go to the website, go to Project 20, I think it's project2025.org. Go to the website, read it. You'll find that it's pretty boring. It's not radical.
It's Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson here on News Talk KZRG. Congressman, we're up against the clock here, but I did want to get your thoughts on this exceptionally important topic, and that is Donald Trump had formally challenged Biden to a golf game. Biden has now rejected the calls. If that were to happen, if this 18-hole round were to happen, how much do you think Trump would beat Biden by?
Oh, man, I don't know, but that would be the most watched golf game ever. Even I would watch, because I'm not a person that, I don't play golf. I would like to start taking up golf at some point. I've never had time. But what I cannot do is watch golf. And for all of you people that watch golf, God bless you, but I can't do it.
Hey,
and
I would
watch baseball or football.
I would watch them
but
play.
I would watch this. It would be awesome.
I think it would be comical.
Right. What's funny is somebody said this to me the other day, that Trump is the epitome of Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack. That he's that guy that's why, he's the guy who just didn't quite fit into the country club and in New York, like the New York high life and the elitist group, like he never fit in. They kind of considered him to be that joke, same way Rodney Dangerfield is in Caddyshack. But who does love Rodney Dangerfield is all the employees and all the workers.
Yep.
So that's Donald Trump.
No, you're right. It really is a perfect analogy. It's Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. You too. Have a great weekend.
We appreciate you.
We'll talk to you again soon, Congressman. That was Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson on News Talk KZRG.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Minus tomorrow, we're going to be pretty dry as we're tracking not only sunshine and blue skies, but steady temperatures that'll start at 93 for today, dip down to 71 then tonight as we're looking at a clear sky, and then tomorrow we're partly sunny with very wide-spaced thunderstorms hitting a high of 94. Even warmer at 96 over the weekend for both days under partly sunny to blue skies. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk KZRG.
When it's time to upgrade the kitchen or redo the bathroom, rent a roll-off from Reliable Roll-Offs. Choose from one of their 3 sizes of roll-off containers, and they'll have it delivered within 24 hours. And once your container is filled to the brim, simply give Reliable Roll-Offs a call. They'll haul it away. Clean out old garages, get rid of shingles or household garbage and more with Reliable Roll-Offs. Learn more about a free estimate at ReliableRolloffs.net. When you're counting on a job well done, you need Reliable Roll-Offs.
I don't need to tell you that the presidential election is white hot, but still 116 days away. Everyone's hungry for news, but don't look for it in the wrong places. I'm Kim Commando for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Accelerate your AI workload today. Take a free test drive at oracle.com/Kim. This week, a disinformation propaganda campaign cooked up by the Kremlin and using artificial intelligence was seriously disrupted by the United States. Notice I said disrupted. That's because it's not gone. It will come back stronger than ever. This scheme was made to look like real ex-users posting real information and real opinions. In reality, it's a sophisticated AI network. Do not look for news. Do not accept opinions. Do not be swayed by social media. The truth is not there. Rely only on trusted and real news sources. And not just one source. Use many. And always view every story with an element of distrust. This election and our future rests on you. Join 500,000 folks who get my free newsletter at getkim.com. AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry, and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So buckle up. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds, offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing. And of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed and less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less like Uber, 8x8, and Databricks Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/Kim. That's oracle.com/Kim, oracle.com/Kim.
It's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, it's News Talk KZRG. Ted Bojorquez.
I'm Steve Smith.
And Charlie Davis as well.
And let the record show, Steve Smith was late on his intro because he was playing air guitar.
Yeah, that's what. True. I was doing,
Yes, indeed.
Totally true.
And joining us this morning is KZRG's meteorologist, Jeff, the weather chef, Nordine. How you doing today, Jeff?
I am doing fantastic. How are you guys?
Great.
Not too shabby. What are we looking like weather-wise in the 4 states?
Well, minus a couple of these, I guess you can almost call them annoying clouds and very light pop-up showers around, northern part, well, actually well north to Springfield and southeast of Kansas City. We're going to be pretty good today. We got partly sunny skies. We're going to get to 93 this afternoon, which is just a couple degrees above average. Then we'll dip down to 71 overnight, and that's going to be with a clear sky. Tomorrow, a couple clouds move right back in. We're going to see some very wide-spaced thunderstorms in the afternoon. They'll be brief, few and far between with a high of 94. And then the weekends, either sunny to partly sunny with highs at 96 for both days.
Oh, all right. You're busting out the stops for us with good weather here, Jeff.
I said, sorry, what did you say?
I said you're busting out the stops with good weather for us. I appreciate it.
Yes, I am. Always.
Well, and that's what makes Jeff so wonderful. Hey, Jeff, thanks for joining us this morning.
Hey, no problem. We will see you tomorrow for Friday.
Oh, my God.
You bet, yeah.
We'll see you then, Jeff. Thanks.
Bye.
That was KZRG's meteorologist, Jeff the Weather Chef Nordine on News Talk KZRG. Well, I wanted to get into this story a little bit here before we break into the news. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC.
You say that so well.
That's natural.
Could you say that again?
Alexandria, see, now I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh, that's just music to my ears.
Oh, thanks, Steve. Well, she filed articles of impeachment against Supreme Court Justices Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas
and
yesterday.
you know what? She looked good doing it.
Well,
I'm very curious your guys' thoughts on this. Now, AOC, she claimed that, here's a quote from her after filing these articles of impeachment, quote, "The unchecked corruption crisis on the Supreme Court has now spiraled into a constitutional crisis threatening American democracy," end quote.
absolutely foolish.
Yeah.
You cannot impeach somebody or kick them out because you don't like the way they vote.
Certainly isn't a precedent
You
we
can
should set.
only do that for misconduct in office or, like the 25th Amendment, somebody's incompetent. But she's just not happy with them supporting the Constitution of the United States of America. And what's sad is you cannot kick somebody out just because you don't like how they vote.
Well, I don't think it's sad. I think that's good.
Yeah,
I think
but
it's
that's
good.
not what it's all about either. It's about Clarence Thomas accepting these multi-million-dollar gifts, and you know, it's been an issue for 2 or 3. They don't have the same strictures on them, the same code of ethics, and haven't had as other federal judges. And maybe it's time to have them, but I don't know about impeaching them either. It's not going to work, but you know, anyway. But you know, I mean, they probably should have a more codified, you know,
and
process.
maybe there is an argument to be made about making rules of or accepting gifts from donors or from whatever.
But on kicking them out, you know, I mean, it's never happened, I think, to a
You know,
Supreme
if
Court
we
justice.
impeached everybody because they did not vote the way that we wanted all the time, we would have nobody in politics.
Well, then it literally wouldn't be a democracy.
Yeah, it
that's
would
the
not
whole,
be a
that's the whole
democracy.
idea.
You
of
know,
it.
just because somebody doesn't vote the way. And here's what's frustrating. When the Supreme Court votes the way that she likes, she applauds them. Oh, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Mm-hmm.
Democracy, the process works. But when they vote against you, now you're all up in arms.
Yeah,
that
suddenly
does
we
not-
got to get him out of here.
Yeah, that does not qualify for
And Justice
impeachment.
Alito, didn't his wife put this flag up and all this?
It wasn't
But-
even
well,
him.
he didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know, so
and it's a
yeah.
flag. Calm down,
It is.
everybody. It's
It
a
is.
flag.
It is our
Yeah.
sacred
If you
flag.
put up a Raiders flag in Chiefs territory, are we going to get fired? You know, it's like chill out. We're good.
So she has a problem with putting up a flag upside down, but she doesn't have a problem with burning it, stomping on it,
Yeah.
urinating on it,
Exactly.
defecating on it.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point.
She's a hypocrite.
And the other thing, and we're up against the clock here, but the other thing that drives me nuts about AOC and the squad and sort of these calls to action that we see a lot from the left is, and I know it's a semantics argument, but the everything is a crisis to them. The unchecked corruption crisis of the Supreme Court. It's now a constitutional crisis. You can think things are a problem and dislike them without everything being code red, crisis mode, everybody running around with their heads on fire. And that's something that it's just a small pet peeve I have of the left is they're all in on the crisis thing. It drives me nuts.
It's just because the Supreme Court is upholding the Constitution and she doesn't like it.
That's
so
crisis,
it's a
Charlie.
crisis to her. It's a crisis to her view of democracy.
Exactly. It's News Talk, KZRG.
At 8:32, I'm Steve Smith.
And I'm Ted Bohorquez.
And here's what's trending on News Talk KZRG. Crossbow murderers.
Skimming scam.
Biden unions. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Jeff, the Weather Chef Nordine.
Sunny overall, minus some wide-spaced thunderstorms for tomorrow. Complete details in moments with your KZRG weather.
Heading for a high today up to around 94. Your complete KZRG forecast follows. KZRG Sports, that's coming up at around 8 after the hour. Right now, partly sunny skies, 72 in Neosho, 73 in Pittsburgh, 74 in Galena, and 74 in Joplin on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. Police have caught a man wanted over a triple crossbow murder at a house near London in the UK. Jonathan Savage reports for News Talk KZRG.
The manhunt ended in a cemetery. Kyle Clifford found injured by police and taken into custody. An alert went out for the 26-year-old after 3 bodies were discovered in the commuter town of Bushey, northwest of London. 61-year-old Carol Hunt and her daughters Hannah, who is 28, and 25-year-old Louise were found dead. Police say a crossbow was used in the murders. The victims were the wife and daughters of a prominent BBC horse racing announcer. One colleague broadcasting in tears, calling it a heartbreaking day.
6 foreign nationals in the U.S. illegally have been charged in a conspiracy to install skimming devices on bank ATMs. Ted Linder with more.
The 6 illegal immigrants are now facing federal charges accused of a vast scheme to defraud Americans by installing the devices on bank ATMs and at retail store checkout units, all in an effort to obtain victims' credit card details to make purchases and even create new fake credit cards used to withdraw cash from victims' bank accounts. Federal prosecutors say the skimming devices were installed at a single major retailer in 22 separate locations across Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, and New York.
Well, meanwhile, President Biden, in the midst of hosting NATO allies in Washington, took time out to visit with members of the nation's largest union federation. That would be the AFL-CIO. With that story, here is Gernal Scott.
In campaign mode, President Biden gave credit to unions for helping build up the economy and creating jobs, while at the same time highlighting what some are saying about former President Trump's ideas.
They say his proposals are going to bankrupt the country. His proposals are going to cause a recession.
And as questions persist about his ability to go another 4 years, President Biden says high rent and food prices are among things still to tackle.
A whole range of things we're going to get done with your help in the second term.
The president is counting on union support he's held on to for many decades.
It is 74 at 6:35, FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
A big win for a Northeast Oklahoma defense attorney. News Talk KZRG's Ty Albright with more.
Well, after several years of litigation, an appeals court has upheld the dismissal of all charges against Winston Connor of Grove. He had previously been accused of racketeering, assault, pandering, witness intimidation, and other crimes after allegedly communicating with a convicted murderer. But with the ruling this week, every case against Connor has been dropped. His attorneys say his reputation is and should be fully restored. I'm Ty Albright, News Talk KZRG.
Well, Freeman Health System announced its plans. They're going to be opening the Freeman Southeast Kansas facility in Frontenac. They did that. They made that announcement on Tuesday. The 170,000 square foot building will hold 50 hospital beds, and it will be located on East 600 Avenue. That is just north of the Camptown Greyhound Park. Freeman Health System President and Chief Executive Officer Paula Baker was there. She told News Talk KZRG the hospital is very much needed in the area.
Sadly, many rural hospitals are closing, and that leaves other communities vulnerable and at risk. So the fact that we will have this one located centrally in southeast Kansas is going to save lives and enhance the lives of southeast Kansas.
74 at 8:37. If you see news, please text us, 417-782-1310. The number to call, it's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
A ballot measure to scale back the abortion ban in Arkansas will not go before voters. The Secretary of State found that organizers failed to submit required paperwork about the paid canvassers that it used to help gather signatures. In Missouri, abortion rights advocates turned in more than twice the required signatures for a measure asking voters to approve a constitutional amendment to guarantee abortion until viability. Local election officials have until July 30th to verify the signatures. Then, it is up to the Secretary of State to declare whether there were enough.
Well, 2 women are charged with cutting off a man's thumb, using it to access his accounts and pay for Uber rides. Gary Baumgarten has the story.
Police say the women hit 51-year-old Fazo Teklemariam over the head and stabbed him repeatedly before severing his thumb to access his accounts to pay for Uber rides, marijuana, and booze. One of the women, who is 22 years old, reportedly described the dead Washington, D.C. man as her sugar daddy. Neighbors say she and her 19-year-old co-defendant were frequent guests at his apartment where he was killed.
Now with sports, here is Lucas Davis on News Talk KZRG.
In MLB news, Kansas City rallied back from a 3-run deficit in the opener and won a slugfest in the nightcap on the way to a 6-4 and 8-5 sweep over St. Louis at Busch Stadium in the I-70 series on Wednesday. In Game 1, the Cardinals led 3-0 after 3 innings thanks to the long ball, but the Royals scored 3 times in the 5th to tie it and went up for good with this swing from Salvador Perez.
He hits that hard into center field. Looking up, Newtmar watches that fly out for a home run. 4-3 Kansas City.
KC scored 2 more insurance runs in the 8th and limited St. Louis to 1 in the 9th. In Game 2, Kansas City scored 7 runs in the middle innings to fuel the Twin Bill sweep. Holding a 5-4 lead, the Royals got another big swing from their veteran backstop and DH to put the game out of reach.
Salvador Perez just hit one a mile over the Royals bullpen, over the stands up toward the concourse.
St. Louis is off today and kicks off a 4-game series at Chicago with the opener against the Cubs set for 7:15 on Friday. KC is also off today and kicks off a 3-game series with Boston on Friday at 6:10. Lucas Davis, News Talk KZRG.
I'm Steve Smith.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez. I was air guitaring this time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you indeed were. Next news coming up, Ted, at 8. Make that 9 o'clock. Breaking news as it happens. FM 102.9, 105.9 AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, noon News Talk. That's where we are. KZRG. And no one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG's own meteorologist, Jeff Nordy.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Minus tomorrow, we're going to be pretty dry as we're tracking not only sunshine and blue skies, but steady temperatures that'll start at 93 for today, dip down to 71 then tonight as we're looking at a clear sky, and then tomorrow we're partly sunny with very wide-spaced thunderstorms hitting a high of 94. Even warmer at 96 over the weekend for both days under partly sunny to blue skies. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk KZRG.
72 in Neosho right now, 73 in Pittsburgh. Temperature going up, 74 in Galena. Also in Joplin, 74. 100 weather updates every 24 hours on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. KZRG News Time, 8:41.
Here we are live in the bottom of the ninth. No balls. 2 strikes to count. Everyone's looking at the chief carpetologist to come through again. Here's the pitch. Swinging a long one. Home run, Tyler's Carpet.
Hey everyone, it's Ron, the chief carpetologist here at Tyler's Carpet in Neosho. Is your flooring down to its last strike? If so, it might be time to call your home team flooring store, Tyler's Carpet. We've got a huge showroom and a wide variety of wood, carpet, and vinyl flooring from all the major league brands that will make your home or office destined for the Hall of Fame. We'll field all of your questions, cover all the bases, and step up to the plate to make sure your new flooring is a grand slam. At Tyler's Carpet, we've got over 30 years experience of all-store flooring service.
Tyler's Carpet in Neosho, always ready to come through with the big hit for you.
And remember, keep the chief in mind, carpetologist, that is.
Tyler's has the carpet you've been looking for, your complete floor covering store.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Is arthritic joint pain keeping you from doing the things you love? Bone-on-bone pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulder? Hey, it's Ted Bojorquez. Listen, there are some pretty exciting new cellular therapies that can get you lasting relief. QC Kinetics is helping patients like you every single day. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. I'm talking cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. Your body's got what it needs, and QC Kinetics, they're the ones that can unlock it for you. They have helped so many people in the 4 states and tens of thousands more around the country. So, if you're living with chronic pain from arthritis or injury, you need to know that steroids and surgery, pain pills, they're simply no longer your only option. You can learn how QC Kinetics can treat pain, enhance your joints, and restore mobility by giving them a call now. Here's their number. 417-515-PAIN, 417-515-PAIN. That's 417-515-PAIN.
If you're looking for a career focused on helping others relax and feel better, but don't want to commit to years of schooling, we should talk. Hi, I'm Megan James, admissions coordinator at City Point Beauty Academy. And in just 6 months, you could be on your way to becoming a licensed massage therapist. At City Point, you'll learn the art of massage and bodywork with advanced hands-on training. All students are supervised by licensed educators, and financial aid is available for those who qualify. To learn more, schedule a tour online at citypointbeauty.com.
Everyone loves a great movie, and there's nothing quite like seeing a great movie up on the big screen with friends and family. Did you know lots of great movies are made right here in the 4-state area? That's right, and independent filmmakers in our 4-state region want you to come see their work. Great Wonders Productions, a 4-state area nonprofit cinematic arts organization, is inviting you and your friends to come out every second Sunday of the month to see inspiring, uplifting films and to support filmmaking in our 4-state region. From 1 to 4 p.m. at the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex in Joplin, and from 6 to 9 p.m. at the historic Route 66 Theater in downtown Webb City. Come enjoy Second Sunday Cinema. Tickets are only $10, and it's something different and fun to do. To see what's showing each month, to watch previews, and to purchase tickets, just go to secondsundaycinema.com. That's secondsundaycinema.com.
Where did you get that smile? Joplin Family Dental.
Pop quiz, Dr. Poshkin.
Oh, man, Dr. Kirk, I didn't even study.
What's the difference between veneers and implants?
Well, veneers are thin coverings that go on top of your existing teeth, and implants replace missing teeth.
Great job, Dr. Poshkin.
And for some extra credit, we can take care of veneers and implants at Joplin Family Dental.
If you got holes in your smile and want to update your dental health, consider dental implants.
Implants improve your chewing, allowing for easier oral care, and help support the other teeth in your smile.
Not to mention, you might feel more confident and comfortable when you smile.
Let us help create a smile you're proud to share with dental implants from Joplin Family Dental.
Call us today and learn more about the process.
And if dental implants are right for you.
Or find more details at joplindental.com.
Where did you get that smile? Joplin Family Dental.
From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG, Ted Bojorquez.
Steve Smith.
And your air guitar aficionado, Charlie Davis.
I was going to say, with that intro, now all of us have air guitared at some point
that's
this
right.
morning.
So, hey, I'll tell you what. Steve, you do air guitar, I'll do air drums, and Ted, you can do air singing.
I'll do air singing.
There you go.
And then it will get me an air girlfriend that is also non-existent. Well, I wanted to get a little bit into this story. Yesterday, Missouri U.S. Senator Josh Hawley was in a Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs hearing where he really pressed the executive director of the Federal Permitting Improvement Steering Council regarding that Grain Belt Express, which essentially is a green energy transmission corridor that would cut directly down the center of Missouri. And Hawley's issue with it is in doing so, the agency may have to functionally confiscate Missouri farmers' land for the tracks in which this green energy, grain belt express corridor will be laid underneath, which is pretty crazy. And Hawley's, one of his big gripes is, number one, not a fan of the idea of confiscating farmers' lands. Number two, if that does happen, the issue of fair compensation for that land. Now, I kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts, broadly speaking, on the first issue of whether or not there's a moral claim for a government, the U.S. government, to take land for public works developments.
If you look at what the eminent domain rules and laws are, it is for public use. Primarily, back when they started it, it was for post offices, roads, schools, and things that benefit the public wholly. Not for private businesses to come in and take your property so they can make a profit off of their transmission line. So I totally agree with Josh Hawley on this. I was on the Utilities Committee in the Missouri House, and I wanted to expand our utility infrastructure because there's going to be a day when we're going to need it. But to say that a private business can come in and take your land and
then charge you monthly fees for electricity
and not compensate you. If they are going to compensate you for your land, and sometimes I may be the only person left, and you're going to have to pay me a little bit more than my property is worth for me to sell it to you. But that, I believe that is the only way they should do it. It should be up to the landowner to agree that I will willingly sell you my property for a fee, or you lease my property. These windmills, they're leasing that property, and the landowners are making thousands of dollars every month for the windmill, and they're happy to do it, but not to do it on my own, I think is wrong, especially for a private profit-making company.
Do you think that there is a place in this country for eminent domain?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. For instance, when we expanded 49, it used to be 71 north, and we needed to expand it so that way we could make it into an interstate highway. So we need 4 lanes, and we need a medium, and we need right-of-ways on either side of it. There was a good push for the expanding of it, and some people were upset because people's land was going to be taken, but they were compensated for it. MoDOT and the federal government buys that land. So I think that there is a time where if it's for the 100% for the public good and they're compensated for it, sure. But not for private businesses. If I wanted to build a Charlie Davis computer store and I'm going to take your land because it's the best land and the government takes your land from you and gives it to me, I'm opposed to that. That's absolutely wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I guess the logic from what I've been able to gather is this idea that even though it's a private energy company, it'll be providing energy to Americans. That's like kind of the only thing I can kind of gather from that.
Well, it's being described as a public utility. And of course, a public utility is I would assume private, like, Liberty or those that are locally here. Those are public utilities. And I'm thinking, on the contrary side, just to stimulate conversation, people are going to say, well, if we don't build this public utility, we're not going to be able to involve ourselves in energy transmission, and 3, I think other states are involved, and why are we on the outside looking in? My guess is it'll become a reality, whether we think it's right or not. I may be wrong, but I really doubt if it's going to stop. And just an aside, when I was a kid, my mother would go to my grandfather's house outside of Liberal, Missouri. And on that road, 43, have you driven up there past those
the windmills?
Windmills, or whatever they call those. And I don't know, if that were my land, I'd be really upset. And I don't know if those landowners, I'm sure they were paid, or I don't know if they're leased, or
they get a monthly stipend
maybe
for
the
leasing of the property.
Maybe that eases the pain, but it sure is. When you're down in Texas and you look way, way over and they're 10 miles away, that no big problem. But to me, right up by your house, they really are ugly.
But to take somebody's land and not compensate them for their land is problematic.
And compensate them fairly. Fairly, not only based off of market price, but off of supply and demand. To your point, if I'm the only holdout left, then the demand's pretty high, and I'm the only one with the supply. Very rare supply, so yeah,
Well,
I'm
you
going to
look-
charge more per acre.
I think you look at Webb City on a North Range line. That whole area from Walmart north to on MacArthur to 171, that's prime real estate right now. Because you got the Whataburger, you now have Starbucks in that location. You have the Dairy Queen is there. You have Popeyes. So now that area is growing, that property value has gone up. So if the city were to come in and say, well, we're going to take it and we're going to put a park there, they should be compensated. The owners of the property should 100% be compensated for the retail market value of their property, and not, like you said, Ted, a stipend. We'll give you $1 an acre. No, it's worth $150,000 an acre because of the location.
I wonder how much people are getting in, say, Barton County are getting paid for their on those leases.
I don't know. We'll have to look into that.
Good
It'll be interesting.
It would be.
And I bet you the people that have it on their properties, and from what I've been told, it's several $1,000s a month. That's a
nice.
pretty good income,
Yeah,
and you
not
can
bad.
still farm around it. So for them that decided to do that, it's a win-win for them.
I volunteer to have one put in my backyard.
It's News Talk, KZRG.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Minus tomorrow, we're going to be pretty dry as we're tracking not only sunshine and blue skies, but steady temperatures that'll start at 93 for today, dip down to 71 then tonight as we're looking at a clear sky, and then tomorrow we're partly sunny with very wide-spaced thunderstorms hitting a high of 94. Even warmer at 96 over the weekend for both days under partly sunny to blue skies. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk KZRG.
Is arthritic joint pain keeping you from doing the things you love? Do you have bone-on-bone pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulder? Hey, it's Ted Bojorquez. Listen, there are exciting new cellular therapies that can get you lasting relief. QC Kinetics is helping patients like you every single day. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. I'm talking cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. So if you're living with chronic pain from arthritis or injury, you need to know steroids and...
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. We will see you tomorrow. I know we didn't say hi to everyone, so I'm sorry. Gary's here. Aunt Lori's here. We got Tony and Terry. Jerry's here. Cheryl, Jason, Matthew, Ty Albright. Look at that. Good morrow, young scholars.
Oh, yeah. Now he's getting to know the act.
Oh, yes. Well, thanks for hanging out with us this morning. Steve Scott, he'll be back in action tomorrow, so we'll talk to you then. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Bye.
But wait, this project is huge. It's a lot of work, and that means a lot of waste to dispose of before the home is even renovation ready.
That means